NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. Take up to $20K off new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive. WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia. Congrats to the Gamecocks women on another national championship. A Cumulus media station. It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
And welcome in. It's week 2 of high school football, week 3 of the program. Welcome in to the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird behind the glass. Keeping this thing rolling. A lot of action coming up tonight. Plenty to get into with you. A lot of local games, a lot of statewide games. As I shuffle the papers, literally you can hear them. There's a lot of action here. I'm going to actually have to go back to the text I sent Elijah earlier today and do a quick count. How many did I send you? 15?
There were a lot of games to look at tonight.
15 games, including a homecoming. Week 2, home opener, homecoming. Hope to hear from Airport head coach Shane Fiddler later in the program, along with all of you. 803-404-6100. It was raining when I got to the studio. Doesn't look like it's raining now.
Looks dark, though.
It's been cloudy all day.
I wouldn't say ominous. I don't think it breaks that threshold yet.
But. Yeah, it hasn't been great, but glad you're with us here on the radio or on the app or watching on the Game TV, on the old YouTubes. We're glad you're with us here, and we'll have, and by the way, our game of the week, not the one that we're following game of the week, but the TV game of the week locally, it's America's team. Airport Eagles and Orangeburg Wilkinson Bruins from Eagle Stadium. We'll have updates from our buddy Brandon, who'll be texting me. He actually let me know that he was going to be doing that as I waited in line for my coffee on the way here. So we'll hear from him. We hope to hear from Chris Miller again tonight, as we did last week, and a little bit later. We're going to hear from Coach Aaron Brand of the Irmo Yellow Jackets.
They survived one last week, man. That one, they looked like they were going to cruise for 3 quarters of that game.
Yeah.
And Burns didn't go away. Those kids at Burns are tough, man. They're 0-2, but anytime your first 2 games all their games are on the road.
But
the first 2 being at TL Hanna and Irmo.
Yeah, exactly.
That's tough sledding to start your season. I do not envy having to play that schedule. They showed a lot of heart, though, man. That's if we're talking about best 0-2 teams in the state of South Carolina, I don't think there's a close second.
Unenviable position by far. Let's look here. Irmo and Butler of North Carolina. Wagner Sally and Swansea. Daniel at JL Mann. Dorman at Greenwood. Sneaky. Myrtle Beach and Sumter. Dutch Fork and Ridgeview. White Knoll at Brooklyn Casey. Porter Gowden Hammond. Undefeated. Skis action. We mentioned OW at Airport. Batesburg Leesville. Undefeated.
That's right. They're ITC.
Going to Abbeville. Undefeated. South Florence traveling to Northwestern. That's a ball game.
Hey, this week could bounce back for South Florence.
It would be. They're Northwestern trying to keep it going. Hartsville going to Camden. 94th all-time meeting between Hartsville and Camden. That's going to be a rock fight.
I vote in like 6 years when we do it again for the 100th that we wear throwback uniforms.
I don't know what those would look like, but
I mean,
sure.
There's got to be a historian at one of those campuses for one of those schools that has all of the access to some of the old photos. You have to completely, I'm not saying like leather helmets, but we can get creative a little bit.
Q Nathan Martin. I'm sure he's got something for us. And then Lugoff Elgin goes to our Darlington Falcons, as they've been affectionately known on the program for about a year and a half. That's a really good ball game. And Lugoff Elgin trying to keep it going. They lost the last week. I think they're 1-1. And so a lot of action there. We've got top 10 rankings. We've got games to watch with players' names and statistics. By the way, this Batesburg-Leesville and Abbeville game is the first one I'm looking at. Batesburg-Leesville, their running back, Amadre Wooden, rushed for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns last week against Wagner Sally. And they held Wagner Sally. The Batesburg-Leesville football team held Wagner Sally's varsity football team to 36 yards of offense. 36.
That's not enough for a scoring drive.
Wagner Sally, well, it wasn't enough for Carolina. Wagner Sally had only 36 more total yards of offense last week than I did.
That's not a lot.
I was at home.
That's right. Me and you both. We were sitting. Yeah, I was sitting here. You were at home. Yeah. We didn't pick up any yards,
and they barely picked up any more than that. So we'll keep an eye on Batesburg-Leesville defense. They're playing a really tough team in Abbeville. If this were professional wrestling, Abbeville would be Ric Flair.
Okay. Oh, I see
not as dirty players, but just like 16-time world champs. My professional wrestling knowledge goes until like 2004, so hang with me here. They'd be the Ric Flairs. Batesburg-Leesville would be like, that's a tough one.
Scrappy underdog that's been building up towards this. Last year was like a rebuilding year.
Okay, all right.
They've been slowly building for a team that can be able to compete with the Abbeyvilles of the world.
I'll work on the reference there. I didn't mean to gloss over the Dutch Fork Ridgeview game, because that's a really good ball game.
Yes.
And the series is tied at 9-9. It's their first meeting since 2015.
Ooh.
Which is quite a long time ago.
Dutch Fork has experienced a lot of success since then.
They have.
Winning's kind of been their thing since 2015.
It wasn't their thing in 2015, though. Ridgeview did beat them 28-21. The all-time series, 9 apiece. The Silver Foxes defense. So this, in my opinion, what to watch tonight is Dutch Fork's defense against that Ridgeview offense with Jordan Gidron, because the Silver Foxes held Spartanburg, the Vikings, to 130 yards last week and had 5 sacks. Meanwhile, Ridgeview's quarterback, Trey Howard, in 2 games this season, has 5 touchdowns and 579 yards in 2 games. So there you go. Unstoppable force, immovable object in terms of a second week or third week of the season, depending on how you look at it.
Great test for Ridgeview's offense right there. I mean, they're not going to see a better defense in this state rather than Dutch Fork. I'm telling you, if you can put up points against Dutch Fork, you'll be able to move the ball against anyone in this state.
No question about that. Dutch Fork coming in as the number 1 ranked team in Class 5A in the state. 17 of the 20 first-place votes went to the Silver Foxes. That Northwestern team that hosts South Florence tonight, they're sitting at 3rd. With 2 first-place votes. We've already mentioned Irmo. They're 5th at 2-0 on the season. Sumter is 2-0 because the Gamecocks of Sumter took Down White Knoll last week.
Thriller. Game of the week in terms of best game.
No question. I said it on. I was on with Terry and Tyler earlier today at around 1:30, and you can catch a preview of our show every Friday at 1:30 on the halftime show. There you go. Shameless.
Right here on the game, baby.
White Knoll, I refuse to say choked away a game because I don't like that terminology when we're talking about high schoolers. I don't like that. They coughed it away. They
stumbled down the stretch.
They did. So the big test for them tonight against a very good Brooklyn Casey team, who only plays 5A teams outside of their region, apparently. How do you overcome that mentally? White Knoll didn't suffer a loss last year until the last week of the season. Adversity hits them this year in week 2. And so how do they respond to that adversity? Still got a laden roster full of talent. If you look here, Landon Sharp, Tyrone Jennings. I mean, this is a really good ball club. They had a 20-point lead and lost in overtime last week. Double overtime.
Kind of a young team, too. I mean, I think the best part about their team last year was that entire defense was made up of seniors. And seniors are the ones, and you see this at high school football a lot, that the 18-year-olds in the locker room are the ones who kind of command the mentality of it. Sure. And last year they don't lose this game because they don't let teams get comfortable at all. Yeah. This year it's a new team. You're going to learn some young team mistakes. And I think what happened with them against Sumter was a quintessential young team mistake. You got a lot of, while talented, a lot of new players playing at different positions with different roles for the first time in their high school career. Right. And you get into a game with Sumter, a team that is always really good year in, year out. And you get up and you think you can maybe take your foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and good teams make you pay. Especially at this level, especially older teams at this level, teams that are older and know how to win at this level. I think that's just a lesson, that Coach Pelham's group learned the hard way. And I would guess, and I guarantee you, if you ask Coach Pelham, he doesn't like losing, but that's not a bad loss to have given the amount of time we have left in the season and everything you're going to have to do. It's not in region play, so it's not killing you on that portion. That this is a great learning experience for a lot of those young players who, again, are playing for the first time at starting positions in really important spots of the field.
And here's a note, again, matchups. We finally have statistics on the season. This is the best part.
Sample size. Sample size.
Connor Burgess and I'm going to need to get Coach Nicholas Pelham on the line. Josue Isiki, gosh, I hope that's right, lead White Knoll with 20 tackles each.
Whoa. 20 tackles each.
Each. And how about this, though? BC's Amari King was moved to running back last week, and he rushed for 142 yards.
Grass is green, water is wet. Brooklyn Casey is good in the trenches. They are great at run blocking. Last year, the entire strength of that team was having those big boys up front do the work and Will Young run like a madman behind them. Right. And, Will Young might not be walking through that door, but with an offensive line like that, it is a lot of plug-and-play success. How, White Knoll's able to handle that tonight is going to be very, very telling. I know Brooklyn Casey had a little bit of a setback. River Bluff took it to him pretty good.
Yeah, they did.
But again, you mentioned it, 142 yards. They will tote the mail across the field in the ground game. And, this is a good test. See exactly how up for it, because you cannot have a mental hangover against those guys. They play mean.
They're right down the road from us tonight at Brooklyn Casey, right across the river.
Might be able to hear the cheers from here.
You probably can. White Knoll quarterback Landon Sharp has 403 yards of total offense, 5 touchdowns this season. This is all thank you to Lou Bezak for supplying these. Irmo is at Butler, North Carolina.
Yeah, no Gordon Hayward.
No. Both quarterbacks are college commits, though. Irmo's A.J. Brand to Virginia Tech. They might need him sooner than you think. Butler's quarterback Zach Lawrence is committed to UMass. Irmo has won 14 straight regular season games dating back to 2022. 2022.
That is maybe not quite Georgia-esque, because Georgia's at 40? They've won the last 40-something regular season games.
Who's the last team to beat Georgia in the regular season?
That's a really it wouldn't have been.
No.
Yeah.
That was still no.
That was 2019. Could not have been South Carolina.
Don't do that to me. No.
No,
it's not. It's not South Carolina. No, it wasn't. No, that's not a sneaky stat. I'll give it to you a little bit later.
Ooh, I don't think about it.
Irmo wide receiver Donovan Murph, one of the best wide receivers in the state, one of the best wide receivers in the country, has picked up an offer from Ohio State and Georgia this week. He did visit Ohio State last week for the Akron game.
Busy. That's a busy couple days. They played early.
As someone who was busy last week around 4:15, you can't let him leave the state. All right, just don't do it.
It's one of the best wide receivers that's come out of the state in a while, man.
Correct.
That kid can play football.
In all the right ways. Another game. It's a good one. Clennon at Newberry.
Oh, that is.
These two teams have met every year since 1974.
Oh, I love that.
Except for the COVID year in 2020. We all remember that year when teams played just region opponents, which was fine, I guess. So Clennon leads the all-time series 54-34, and they've won 3 straight. Their offensive lineman Trey Aiken is a Division I prospect and has several Power 4 offers, getting used to the whole Power 4 idea. But I'll
take some coaching.
Pull his name up here in a little bit as well. Newberry is 2-0 for the first time since 2017.
They are, ITC. We'll get to all the teams that are ITC later. Jeez. But Newberry, and we have a couple members of the club right now that I would say are very unsuspecting members. I think you could put Newberry in that class. It's a remarkable start for those guys.
Newberry is 10th in Class 3A at 2-0, and Clennon is number 3 in 2A. Whew. And Newberry running back B.J. Jones has 5 touchdowns in the first 2 games of the season. 5 tutties in 2 games.
Yeah, averaging 2.5 a game is a pretty remarkable pace. Hard to keep up through an entire 10-game season.
It'd be 20.
Yeah, but you'd be putting up some pretty good numbers.
And finally, one more game that we're looking at here is one of our top games of the night, and in the Midlands at least, is Hartsville at Camden. Hartsville is 0-0-1. Camden's 1-1. We mentioned 94th all-time matchup between these two. Camden leads the series 46-45-2.
Multiple ties in there.
But Hartsville has won 4 of the last 6 in the series. Last year, Hartsville won 55-21, hung double nickel.
Man, Camden was a much different team early last year than what they ended up being at the end.
Yes, they were.
Last year.
They started slow.
Like, think about that. Thing, that's a drubbing. That's an absolute drubbing. And at that point of the season, you thought Hartsville and Irmo and South Florence were the class of the of 4A,
mm-hmm.
and then Camden all of a sudden in 3A. Makes a run to the state championship game and loses in heartbreaking fashion. But I don't know if the casual observer would have been able to foresee that after going to Hartsville and getting dropped like that. But it shows how early we are.
It's true. Tanner Bracey leads Camden with 2.5 sacks on the season and 4 quarterback pressures. If he can get to the quarterback, Camden might have a shot to beat Hartsville tonight. A lot more to come, including a conversation with Coach Brand of Irmo. That's next right here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on The Game.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
I'm here with the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder of First Palmetto Bank. Jacob, tell me more about this 4.99% 30-year fixed product you are offering in Richland County.
We have a community reinvestment product in the areas of Richland County. Blythewood, Northeast, Southeast, and the I-20 corridor are areas that we're offering the 4.99% interest with a 5.075 APR on a 30-year fixed mortgage. We are underserving these areas, so the bank is offering 100% purchase loans at 4.99% on a 30-year fixed. No points, no mortgage insurance, no gimmicks, just lower payments.
4.99% is awesome. What's a payment look like?
Yes, Bill. A payment on $200,000 at that APR is at $1,072 a month for 360 months. A payment on $300,000 is at $1,608. These estimates do not include taxes and insurance. These loans are only for primary residences, and the loan amounts are capped at $300,000. Call me today. My number is 803-719-1005, or you can email me at jcrowder@firstpalmetto.com. All loans are subject to credit approval and property appraisal. First Palmetto Bank is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. My NMLS number is 198432.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today. Like the Kubota L-Series compact tractor, the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S., Z-Series mowers, and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 72 months, plus save up to $300. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Pioneer Farm Equipment in Orangeburg, 1 mile off of I-26 exit 154B, or at PioneerFarmSC.com.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on The Game. Justin Hall, Ed Bird, Elijah Campbell. I switched it up there. Why not?
Yeah, variety's the spice of life.
On Friday night, as the big voice said. But we're glad to be here. Glad to be talking with you about high school football. There are more games that we didn't mention, including River Bluff and Nation Ford tonight, C.A. Johnson, Fairfield Central. Drea goes to Lakewood High School. Should be a good one there. And Christ School plays A.C. Flora. Eau Claire goes to Greenwood Christian. Looking for a few more here. North Central and Columbia. Battery Creek and Keenan. Collin County at Lower Richland. Chapin at Spring Valley. Blythewood taking the trip up to Fort Mill, South Carolina. Lexington plays at Midland Valley. Lexington getting votes in 5A. Midland Valley getting votes in 4. Could be a good one right there. Whitmire and Mid-Carolina. Wilson Hall and Ben Lippen. Want to mention that because our buddy Joe Pollock looks like he's doing PA tonight from Ben Lippen and Wilson Hall. Pretty solid stuff there as he tweets us. You can get us on Twitter. You can get me there at Justin B. Hall is where you can find me on Twitter. And you can get us there and give us the scores as they roll in. Ben Lippen is 2-0. So Ben Lippen is in the undefeated club as it stands right now. They're 2-0. They play Wilson Hall tonight And in 2 games, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Lippen has surrendered not a point.
Goose eggs, baby, donuts.
Not a point. And as I flip through, and sometimes learning at the feet of Tommy Moody, you go to find who has yet to surrender a point. I can count them. Well, Eastside, Fort Mill. This is good radio.
Yeah, Fort Mill. I made sure to try to Orangeburg Wilkinson. They have not given up a score in the first 2 games. They're scoring 52 points per game. Good thing they're playing someone that you're very interested in. The Fighting Justin Halls.
Excellent, fantastic.
Happy homecoming.
Let's go to the phone lines. 803-404-6100. Our buddy Cale is on the line. Go ahead. Where you at, Cale?
You.
We got you. I tell you what, Cale, give us a call back because the gremlins have attacked your phone.
That's right. Yeah, the gremlins have gotten a hold of Cale. Now I'm worried about his health.
Not a good not good, and it's raining outside, which makes it even worse.
The gremlins are empowered by rain.
Ugh.
We can try it again.
All right, we're going to try Cale again. Let's try him again. Cale?
Have you escaped the clutches of the gremlins?
Can you guys hear me now?
Somewhat. Keep going.
Better. Let's let him cook.
Okay. I'm from Richland Northeast High School tonight between Richland Northeast and Westwood, one of the age-old rivalries in the state. It wasn't played last year, and Richland Northeast has not won this game since 2016. This game has been no hate loss so far, and we haven't even reached the kickoff. As soon as Westwood took the field, both teams had to be separated at midfield because they were both trying to get in each other's faces. There was a bunch of trash talk. Westwood actually came up to me as they were heading back to the locker room saying, "This is the new Westwood, just wait," as they went 1-9 last season. They're coming off a 35-0 win over Lakewood last week. They feel very confident coming into this game. And Richland Northeast is 2-0, so we both know how talented they are with NC State quarterback commit Will Wilson as the senior leading this team. But they have both been very vocal. They have been trash talking to each other as they would go back to the locker room and come out on the field. They have had to be separated throughout most of warm-ups. As Richland Northeast is coming down, they're about to take the field soon.
Well, Cale, keep us updated. We look forward to hearing from you throughout the night and
juicy
and seeing what takes place there. Hopefully that game goes off without any hitches. We appreciate it, bud. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Does Cale know the amount of shade he just threw, by the way? After saying that he was told it's an all-new Westwood, and they went 1-9 last year.
It's great comedic timing.
It's
too.
good. It's
this
good.
Is the new Westwood. I would hope for their sake that this is the new Westwood.
If they score 2 games, it would be a new Westwood. By the way, Irmo had a 7:00 start tonight against Butler, and it's 7-0 Irmo.
Well, that was quick.
Yep, handoff. Not an A.J. Brand throw or run. It was just a straight handoff to the running back. And, well, that's the way it goes. Again, plenty of action from across the states. You'll hear from Cale quite often. I'm sure we'll hear from Roger later. I'm sure we'll hear from Gamecock Larry later. Plenty of other people. If you want to call in, give us a score from a game you're at. You might have needed to pack a poncho. I don't know. Do they allow umbrellas in the stadiums now?
I don't know. Some places they probably do allow the ones that are a little spacier.
Sure. You need to have the space for it. 803-404-6100 is where you can get us there as we count down to kickoff for most games, 8 minutes away. We mentioned Dutch Fork and Irmo and Sumter and White Knoll, Lexington, River Bluff, Chapin, and Blythewood, all Midlands teams receiving votes in 5A. 5A is littered with Midlands talent.
It is, and they've all gotten off to really good starts. Honestly, one team that I don't want to say surprised, but it's nice to see them take that leap because they did have some struggles last year, and that's River Bluff. I mean, River Bluff taking it to Brooklyn Casey the other night was one of the more pleasant surprises to see in terms of teams making that step. I mean, Brooklyn Casey's not a 5A opponent, but that's always a really strong 3A. It's the River Bluff team that took some of its lumps in the last few years, and they have to play in what I think is the toughest region in the entire state. And them and Chapin both have shown you something. They're both able to score the ball. They've got some really improved quarterback play with Brady Albro and it was Parker Murray, who is over quarterbacking at River Bluff, and that'll be a fun game between the two of them. I'm really excited to see if they're able to put scares, on the schedule of either Dutch Fork or Irmo this year.
Another team, Lexington, has improved defensively, in my opinion. They've looked good the last couple of weeks, and we'll see if they can keep it going. In the 4A ranking vicinity, Camden, I count them as Midlands. Gray Collegiate coming in at 6. R&E's 2-0, and they're moved to 4A. They started off hot last year too, 2 or 3 wins, and then they kind of struggled down the stretch.
They did.
We'll see what they have.
Sledding.
Gilbert, Crestwood, I count as Midlands. BC and AC Flora all receiving votes in 4A. Only Keenan and Swansea receiving votes in 3A. There's the only Midlands representation there. I count Saluda in 2A. I probably shouldn't. They're ranked 6th. Batesburg-Leesville is 10th.
We'll count them.
And the Caps, the Columbia Capitals, are receiving votes in 2A as well. No Midlands representation in 1A.
Boo.
But there aren't many 1A teams in the Midlands.
Also true.
So kind of comes with the territory of, population and enrollment size.
Shout out to the Caps, though, man. I mean, when was the last time you think they received votes to be ranked? Like, this is the first time they've been 2-0 in a long time.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that's a school that, at least since I've been around and from what I've been able to gather over the last couple of years, that they've not been a football powerhouse.
They have not. Can confirm.
But they're off to a really good start this year. They may or may not be ITC.
They may or may not be. Irmo's up 7-0. They're going to the second quarter. Irmo's already got it on the Butler side of the field. And the longest running rivalry in the state is that Camden-Hartsville game. They're at Zemp Stadium tonight, historic Zemp Stadium.
Yes.
And they have a bell at Camden. They have a bell.
Camden's a place where they do need to have, very archaic or old antique-looking trophies or things that go off after scores.
No kidding. They have to.
I would have guessed a cannon because of its significance in the Revolutionary War. A cannon would rule, but however,
that's good. A bell, Liberty Bell, Revolutionary War.
I do get how not letting live cannons near high schoolers being a really good idea.
Don't let cannons near college people. Did you watch Game Day?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen Lee Corso shoot one off on X. They give that man a live gun on the set.
How good is it with Nick Saban on?
Oh, it's
quick
so
aside.
Good.
How good is it with Nick Saban on?
Nick Saban's
like
really,
the contrast
really
of
good.
Nick Saban and Pat McAfee is really good, and I think it's a good yin and a yang balance.
Yeah.
But also, I could listen to Nick Saban break down tape all day long and never get bored.
Exactly, and there are sometimes you can tell. I don't want to say he's filtered. I think he does maybe hold back on some criticism, which is fine. Coaching is a fraternity of its own.
And he probably always will.
But I will say there are a lot of ex-coaches that go into this line of business and they don't give you anything.
Right.
But that's not the case with Nick Saban. As much as that man has tortured myself and many other SEC fan bases over the course of not just the 17 years he was at Alabama, but for even his tenure at LSU.
Yeah.
He has, I've warmed up to him a little bit just because I do find him to be incredibly insightful on game day. It's a really good ad. It mixes up what I thought has becoming more of a stale product over the last, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it had gotten, the injection of McAfee had helped a little bit. I know it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I get it, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And so I think a good balance there is necessary because yes, when you've been doing the same show the same way since 1996, I think.
Yeah, 96, about 97. As old as me.
Yeah, 96 or 97. You probably need to switch things up a little bit. But I think they've done a good job of doing that. Northwestern will get the ball to start. They won the toss. They will receive the ball to start their game tonight against South Florence.
Ooh, love it.
News is really rolling in here on these games, huh?
We're getting coin toss updates.
By the way, not only do we keep you updated with high school football, that is our main forte here, but I will have you know that tonight you have the Packers and the Eagles in NFL football on a Friday night in Brazil. Because I'm quoting the commish, this game was meant to be international. No, sir, it was not.
No, it was not.
It's really not. It's American football. They care about soccer there. We have BYU taking on ACC heavyweight SMU. If you just woke up from a coma from the last 10 years, welcome. SMU's in the ACC. We will have Airport and OW on the televisions and here in studio very soon. And the New York Mets have a 2-0 lead on the Cincinnati Reds. They are currently tied for the last wild card spot with the Braves. Told you. And now your fate is in the hands of the Cincinnati Reds. So now we're both going to be miserable. No. Fate's still in the hands of the team. Still is. As long as the Braves win, they'll be fine. The problem is they aren't doing that. By the Rockies. In one game, they took a series. Yeah, you still got to take that game, though. Yeah, no. The offense was bad. Whit Merrifield got hit in the back of the head. The whole thing. Oh, that has been a whole thing. And deservedly so. Not been one of Whit's happier weeks of his life. He has lived 35 great years of existence. This has not been one of his better weeks. Had a much more fun week in Omaha a couple years back, right? Oh, goodness gracious. There's a lot. So there's a lot going on outside of the state, but there's a lot going on inside the state. I've got region rankings here that don't matter because there's no region record yet. But it's cool to look at some of these numbers. Like JL Mann's put up 96 points in 2 games. I'm looking for if there's a higher mark, and there is. Chapin has put up 109 points. I'm going to look during the break and see if anybody's put up more than 109 points in 2 games. We'll find out. And games are kicking off now. So since games are kicking off now, we'll hit a timeout. More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game.
From lazy days and spontaneous adventures to revving up and reconnecting, you can almost feel the excitement building, the road ahead, and a whole new season of possibilities. It's back to cool time right now at Love Chevy with amazing savings on a lot chock full of brand new Tahoes, Suburbans, and the totally redesigned Chevy Traverse. A bolder exterior design, turbocharged V6, best-in-class cargo area, plenty of space for the team and the tailgate. Speaking of football, every day is game day at Love Chevy, where it's all about the fundamentals, honesty, integrity, and straight talk. No ridiculous add-on stickers like the other guys. And who could forget about Love Chevy's $1,000 low price guarantee? Get back to cool today at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 at Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. Getting older is never fun. You start experiencing some symptoms that you're not accustomed to. Maybe it's brain fog. Maybe it's low energy level. Maybe it's lack of drive and motivation. But at the Men's Clinic, Dr. Dan Balknight is ready to help you with an individualized treatment that will treat your needs. So give him a phone call today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or visit him on the web for more information, mensclinicsc.com.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you on a Friday night. Games are kicking off as we speak. Irmo is already in the second quarter against Butler up in North Carolina. So before these games, so when you select your fantasy football team and then you have to lock in your starting lineup, once the games start in the 1 o'clock window, any player playing in the 1 o'clock window is locked down. You cannot put them on your team. As I found out last night when Xavier Worthy was on my bench. So Pat Mahomes is my quarterback, so
you did get a lot of points. Yeah, as I said, you got a couple touchdowns, over 200 yards.
15.8 points in the league I'm in. Not bad.
15's good.
But 20 sitting on my bench. Xavier Worthy. I should have picked him. He was a steal in the draft, in my opinion.
Oh, I've got him. I'm in a few leagues.
I got him. I got him in like the 5th or 6th round. Like, you're leaving that guy that long in a 10-team league? Snake draft? Are you kidding? Anyway, not the point.
Good value.
The point is, games are kicking off now. So as of right now, until the games go final tonight, you are still undefeated. Until you're officially undefeated, or until you're officially defeated, you will always be undefeated.
Ain't that the truth?
With that note, Mr. Campbell has a look at those who are in the club here as we enter into the third week of the high school football season.
Yeah, that's right. You hear the music. You hear Ed Bird sitting at the door, checking IDs. He's checking for zeros, and that's zeros in the loss column. And we do have some rules to this, and we'll get to that once these teams arise. But we'll start off with the teams that are ITC. That is in the club, ladies and gentlemen. In 5A, we have 19 teams, starting with Hillcrest, TL Hanna, Boiling Springs, Gaffney, 1-0. Welcome, Gaffney, into the club. Ed Bird looks at your ID and he says, yeah, come on in. Come into the first floor. Eastside, Riverside, Fort Mill, Indian Land, Northwestern, who's put up some impressive W's the first 2 weeks of the season. Chapin, who, mind you, 54.5 points per game in the first 2 games this year against AC Florida in Catawba Ridge. Points. That's how you get to extra levels here in the club, Justin Hall. Score a lot of points, and don't let your opponents score as many as you do. Dutch Fork, they looked mighty impressive in a 24-7 win over Spartanburg. They didn't play in week 0, but they did win week 1, so they get to approach Ed Bird. Ed Bird says, come on in, baby. We got a spot for you on the first floor. Lexington gets a thrilling win at North Augusta to kick them out of the undefeated club. 20-19. Do we dare call them the Cardiac Cats, Justin Hall?
Not yet.
Not yet. They possibly, maybe. Keep in the back of your mind. River Bluff, still ITC after a couple of weeks, thumped a good Brooklyn Casey team. Could they be this year's White Knoll as the surprise team in that region? We will see.
Ooh, very elite.
Yeah, the Blythewood Bengals, they are still in the club. They are in the next floor. They have just been beating opponents by a lot. Haven't really been tested yet. They're winning games by an average of 32.5 points per game. Goodness gracious. Sumter remains in the club and gets to kick White Knoll and Nicholas Pelham's fellas out of the club. That's a big boy win. Big comeback in the last quarter of that game. Carolina Forest, now they tied with Hartsville in their first game. So while they haven't won yet. I think they're the first team in the history of the undefeated club to get to enter, but without a win. Because they played, technically didn't lose. They tied. Ed Bird looked at that ID for a while. He did the whole thing where you bend it a little bit and make sure it's real. It's real. He let him on in. So Carolina Forest is allowed. Now, however, they're ITC, but they don't have the unlimited Gatorade access that you get with a certain membership. Somerville in, and as well as Fort Dorchester. So that is 19 teams in 5A. 12 in 4A, that's Wren, Emerald, Westside, Blue Ridge, Seneca, Daniel, Richland Northeast playing tonight. That's our game of the week with Kale. Thrilling win at Crestwood. Let's see if Will Wilson continues to be what I like to consider the real deal. Hartsville, technically in, like we said, with that tie with Carolina Forest, Darlington, Bishop England, Bluffton, and May River. 3A, we got 13 teams. West Oak, Belton, Hanea Path, Walhalla, Pendleton, Woodruff, Mountain View Prep, Newberry. Hey, listen to this. Newberry impressively being in the club. Crushed Mid-Carolina last week, 43-0. They're scoring 42 points per game. You're going to win a lot of games that way. You might be able to hang out in this club for a long time, maybe after hours. Who knows? Swansea, still here, baby. They were not at all last year going 0-10. They won the first 2 games of the year this year, and they crushed Edmark Olar last week, 38-6. One of the better stories in high school football to start the season. Loris, another one of those teams that have not given up a point this year. Not only do they have 2 shutouts, they're averaging 51.5 points per game, Justin Hall. So they're not just ITC, they're impressively ITC. Marlborough County, Anor, Dillon, and Orangeburg-Wilkinson, they have not given up a score in the first 2 games of the year. They're scoring 52 points per game, and they're playing the Fighting Justin Halls at Airport tonight. We're going to talk about that game a lot here in the next little bit. In 2A, we have 10 teams. That'd be Blacksburg, Strom Thurmond, Saluda, the Caps of Columbia, baby. Who would have thought that we'd be the third weekend of the season and they're still hanging out, partying in the undefeated club? Chesterfield, North Central, Barnwell, Hampton County, Mullins, and East Clarendon, all ITC. And in 1A, we have only 8 schools. That is Louisville, Abbeville, Dixie, Bamberg, Earhart, Baptist Hill, Cross, Branchville, and Hannah Pamplico. Those are all the high school league ones. We still have some Skeeza teams that are in the club. 4A, we have Ben Lippen, 20-0 shutouts, 2 20-0 wins against First Baptist School and Trinity Collegiate. Lawrence Manning Academy also in the club. Hammond, I expect them to be hanging around after hours. Yeah. Northwood Academy and Porter Gowd. And then in 3A, we have 2, just Wilson Hall and Florence Christian. Wilson Hall knocked out Northside Christian from this very prestigious institution last week. We only have one in Skeeza 2A. That's the PD Academy. And in Skeeza 1A, we have 6. Lee Academy, again, like Carolina Forest and Hartsville, they had a tie against Dillon Christian. So, again, Ed Bird had to look at the ID. He had to make sure that, it passed all the tests. And after like 30 seconds of hard review, we let him in. Carolina Academy, Kings Academy, Dorchester Academy, Patrick Henry Academy, and Thomas Hayward Academy, a bunch of academies named after men, also allowed into the club. They have yet to lose. And then with 8-man, we have Richard Wynn Academy, Wardlaw Academy, Cathedral Academy, and Holy Hill Academy. All in all, the South Carolina undefeated club that we are hosting here at the Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show has 80 members. We were down from 108 down to 80.
All right, so by a factor of 20, we're moving at a factor of 20-ish every week, 28. Okay.
So there we go.
It's a full club.
80 members of this club.
What color Gatorade do they have?
See, I'm a big orange Gatorade guy. I think that is the best. And Ed Bird gives us the approval fist bump.
Yeah, I'm not big on
that
orange.
Is the greatest flavor.
I'm not big on orange. I mean, I'm a classic guy. I do like the is it the Glacier Cherry, the white one?
Ooh, yes.
Underrated. When I frequented a certain gym that shall remain nameless on this program, they had that in the coolers. I would always get that because it was just so good.
Oh yes, very nice.
Very, very solid Gatorade choice. By the way, that Orangeburg Wilkinson team that is not allowed a point, they have just kicked off with the Airport Eagles homecoming over at Eagle Stadium. Airport running the classic quarterback walks over to the head coach to get the play call. Should be a solid night tonight for that. Jay Eady, quarterback at Airport, freshman.
Oh, freshman. Wow. There's some senior leadership on that team. I would like to get a shout out here too. It's homecoming, and that means some of these players are up for different homecoming stuff. And friend of the show, sources close to the Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show, if you will, has a relative on the team, Cooper Langford. If you're watching on TV, he is the left guard for Airport.
Give
number
the number
75.
There you go.
Number 75, left guard, already helping pave the way. I'm watching this on your laptop too right now, paving the way for a very nice first down run for Airport. Cooper Langford's going to be a big part of this team if they want to continue to run the ball, which not a lot of teams have done against Orangeburg Wilkinson. So
yeah, let's try the zone read. That didn't work.
He is up for homecoming, and a friend that is a close source.
Nice.
To the Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show, gave me a scouting report, says sweet boy and a senior. So,
well, that's all I need to know. And he's up for Homecoming King, which, according to Terry Ford said that I had won Homecoming King 3 times. That did not happen.
Nope, verifiably false.
Verifiably false.
False.
Did not win Homecoming King 3 times.
But nice try.
I mean, I don't even think I was up for it. Maybe one person wrote in my name. I doubt it. And Orangeburg Wilkinson's living in the backfield now. That game's just getting underway. Plenty of games getting underway. Fairfield Central is up 7-0 on C.A. Johnson early. AC Flora up on Christ School 7-0 early as well. Irmo already up 7-0. Midland Valley up 7-0 on Lexington.
Ooh.
First quarter. That just happened.
Wow. Midland Valley has had a really tough sledding to start the year. If they could pull something off against Lexington, that would be one of the more surprising results of the night, considering Lexington is yet to lose, and they're coming off that thrilling win at North Augusta.
Chapin up 7-0 on Spring Valley, not surprising there. Abbeville trails Batesburg-Leesville early 7-0.
Ooh, it's a Chapin up 7-0.
So let's see here a few more. That's what I've got right now as it comes across. But again, long way to go. Plenty of football games on the docket tonight.
I do have one. Swansea strikes first. Hey, 2-0 after a winless season last year. They are up 7-0. A touchdown from Dante Caldwell with 6:12 to go in the first quarter. Scored on their first drive after forcing a 3-and-out. Thank you, John Carlos, for that update. So Swansea not going away. They're playing Wagner Sally tonight.
Yeah.
They strike first. And Matt, wouldn't it be one of the cooler stories in South Carolina high school football if not only they were to win the first 2 games after going winless last year, but you know what's better than that, Justin Hall? Winning your first 3 games.
That's
right. That's math.
Palmetto Mustangs up on the Travelers Rest Devil Dogs. Shout out Ryan McGee from the mothership, Travelers Rest. Palmetto, though, leads them 3-0 early on. In case you were interested, still no score between Jefferson Davis and Conway Christian. I can't wait for the game when Jefferson Davis plays Patrick Henry.
I love all name bowls,
It's my favorite night of the season, and I look forward to it happening very soon. I don't even know if they're scheduled to play this year, but they played last year, so I can assume. That is pretty much the length of our scoreboard right now because, again, game's just getting underway. Man, Airport's added a lot of cool stuff to the stadium, a lot of new paint since I was there, but that was 10 years ago, so I would hope.
You would hope that they haven't left it the way
they haven't left it the same. Those light poles are kind of rusty. Airport
is in need of an upgrade.
Airport gets one first down, then has to punt it away. So Orangeburg Wilkinson's going to touch the ball first at the 32. This is an Airport team that surrendered 31 points to May River in week 0 on the road. Long drive.
Very long drive.
But if Airport's going to hang around in this game, they've got to play good defense. They got to play it early. And they got to give their offense a shot on some short fields. TL Hanna and Westside playing tonight. That's a good game in the upstate.
That is a very good game. I mean, TL Hanna has picked up some big wins this year. Westside, I would venture to say, especially after South Florence dropped their first game last week, that they're the clear favorites to win state in 4A right now. They at least have the best offensive attack.
Yeah, no question.
They score a lot of points. They're
very
good at that.
They do. But Westside's got a good quarterback. 7-0. With 4:47 to go in the first quarter there. We are just a little over 30 minutes away from the first Friday night NFL game in week 1. Batesburg-Leesville, Amari Wooden, 36-yard touchdown.
Wow.
7-0. Ridgeview gets a big stop on 3rd and goal. Dutch Fork had gotten it down inside the red zone, inside the 10, and come up empty. First Baptist up 14-0 early in their football game as well. I got Big Ten football, in case you're interested. Indiana, the Hoosiers are up 27-28 over Western Illinois. So, in case you're watching Indiana,
Western Illinois, they are the.
Oh, that's a good question. Are they the Bulldogs?
Their logo is a bulldog, but they go by the Leathernecks.
I'd have never gotten that.
Yeah, that's a tricky.
Is that because of the collar?
I would assume. I've always assumed so. But like the logo of Western Illinois, like they do have like a bulldog on the helmet. So it's it is technically kind of a trick question.
Mustang defense holds Lexington to a field goal on their first drive. So Midland Valley's up 7-3 first quarter.
Ooh, let's update mine. Yeah, and now also we have right after I go ahead and pump Swansea up to score first in the game, Wagner Sally comes back down the field with a touchdown of their own. 63-yard touchdown, and the 2-point conversion is good. Wagner Sally 8, Swansea 7.
White Knoll leads 7-0 after a 9-yard touchdown pass from Landon Sharp. So White Knoll up 7-0 early on Brooklyn Casey here. 10:55 left to go in the first quarter. Long way to go there. A long way to go on this program. We wrap up hour number 1 when you come back right here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the game.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? Well, Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 35,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares, and they may be able to help you too. If you were misled into signing a timeshare agreement that is a lifetime commitment, if you were told timeshare is a great investment or your maintenance fees will never go up, you need to get the facts about timeshare cancellation. For over 10 years, Wesley Financial Group has been dedicated to helping folks get out of a lifetime of debt by canceling their timeshares. So they created a timeshare exit information kit, which reveals how the timeshare industry works and what your options are for cancellation. Simply call Wesley right now and they will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free. See how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Again, 800-761-0000.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for AAA Heating and Air. For many years, AAA has been your year-round ally against changing weather across the Midlands, whether it's the hot summers or those cool winters. Let their expert team make sure that your home is always an oasis of comfort. And now, Roy and Dana Finley have a spectacular offer to make it even better for you and your family for years to come. How about 12 months, no payments or interest in 2024, plus guaranteed financing, a $1,500 system buyback rebate, and their 15-year parts and labor guarantee that speaks volumes of the trust in their service and in their products. AAA has done things at my house that make my family nice and comfortable all year long. They can do it for you too. Get a free quote today call AAAtoday.com. That's call AAAtoday.com or give them a shout at 803-677-1500. Tell them Jay Phillips sent you to AAA Heating and Air.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
You already know that Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union offers truly free checking and great rates on auto loans, but did you know they do mortgages too? Whether you need a first or second mortgage, a home equity line of credit, or a loan for construction, renovation, a lot, or a manufactured home, Palmetto Citizens has you covered. They're a community financial institution based solely here in the Midlands, so they offer a refreshingly simple mortgage process you won't get from the big banks or online lenders. Along with a great rate, the Palmetto Citizens mortgage team will work with you to tailor the loan to best fit your needs and budget. Apply for your mortgage today by visiting palmettocitizens.org or stopping by any of their 14 branches across the Midlands. Palmetto Citizens, proudly serving this community since 1936. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 449962. Approval based on credit worthiness. Certain restrictions may apply.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast. I'm also saying the record's going to go down.
I'm saying the record's going down anyway. The guy.
I don't think you're off on this at all. Like, you're spot on here. I don't think this is an overreaction because we have no idea what we're reacting to. Come react or overreact with us. How would you say that? An overreaction, sir. Overreaction Monday. Wherever you listen, it's game over.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on The Game. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird wrapping up hour number one of 4 tonight on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. It is 14-0 West Side over T.L. Hanna right now. But last week, our buddy Cale was at Irmo, and we haven't heard from Coach Brand on these airwaves on this program. But we'll hear from him in a couple of seconds, Elijah. I believe our buddy Cale was able to stand up and talk to Coach Brand. We actually encouraged him to do that last week, I think.
Yes, because he was trying to keep the interview going with us. We're like, no, Coach Brand takes precedent. So
always.
Our man, Cale Wilson, did get to stand up with Coach Brand after Irmo's really close, thrilling win against Burns. And here's how that interview sounded.
I'm Cale Wilson here from 107.5 The Game, here with Coach Aaron Brand for Irmo. Coach, I want to ask you, what was your message to your team coming into tonight's game, as this was a top 10 showdown in the state?
Well, we thought Burns was a team that, coming off a tough loss last week, that they were cornered a little bit. And we think one of the most dangerous things going is somebody that got their back against the wall, somebody that all they can do is come forward and come out fighting. And that Burns team had a great game plan tonight. Watching Kane throw that football around, it looks like they found a quarterback for the year also. That kid spun it real good tonight, and it was a great quarterback matchup. I think we had the better of it, though.
What was your message to your team at halftime when you were coming up with that big lead?
Well, we wanted to keep going, keep pounding, as the Panthers say. We didn't want to let up because we knew, like I said, this team had nothing to lose coming back out at halftime. They had a couple good drives, and they got to within a one-score game, and we just wanted to be able to finish, and for us to be able to get that last first down with AJ and be able to do our favorite play, which is the kneel. Our favorite play is either the kneel or the home run to Don Murph. So we did our other favorite play, the kneel, the quarterback kneel, and we got out of here with a W.
What type of tone does this set for your next contest as you have your first road game out of state against a very talented opponent?
Well, Butler's good. We know they're coached really well, and we know we got to take a business trip. It is a business trip, so we got to get healthy first. Once we get healthy and once we're able to kind of shore up some of these knacks and some of these little nuggets that we got going on, as far as we're not injured, but we are hurting. We are hurting pretty good, and once we can shore up these injuries over the weekend, we hope to go up there healthy and be a good football team next Friday night.
I'm Cale Wilson here with Coach Aaron Brand. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Cale.
That was our buddy Cale Wilson last week with head coach Aaron Brand of the Irmo Yellow Jackets. And again, that team is playing on the road at Butler tonight. So a good matchup up there. Irmo, a very good football team. It goes without saying.
Very, very good. And I love listening to Coach Brand talk. I would run through a wall for that guy. I'd play for him.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I would play for Coach Brand.
One of my favorite coaches to call into our show. Every time. There's no question about it. By the way, college football, I want to let you know that BYU leads SMU 7-0 That one just started the second quarter. Airport has the ball back, scoreless, with 50. Wow, no way. Is it already almost the end of the first quarter? There they go. They're fixing the clock. It's almost the end of the first quarter in that game. It's a TV game.
I was getting ready to say that's impressive. That would be impressive to run through it that quick. Now, no game at any level of football runs with that type of machine-like efficiency. But
I like it. If anyone's going to do it, it's Coach Shane Fiddler, who's in his second season at Airport. 5-7 is his record after a loss last week. They again lost first-round playoff game and finished 5-5 last year. Looked pretty good. Looked pretty good in his first season.
Finished 5-5, inheriting a team that went 2-8 the year before.
Yeah, we're not good.
That's growth. That's growth. That's three-game growth.
And Jay Eady can run the ball. I'm seeing some impressive things there, but he's getting manhandled. So you're gonna have to deal with that physicality wise. He's gonna have to grow into that as a freshman for sure. We're tracking a few more games. It's 4th and 1 of the 13 for for Ridgeview. And they lined up Jordan Gidron at Wildcat to try to get it. Efforting to see if they did.
Great industry term.
Thank you. They called a timeout. Dutch Fork got the stop. It's 3-0 Dutch Fork.
I love the aggressiveness, though. I get it. I love it. Try put the ball in the hands of your team. Trust them to make a play.
With your best player too.
Yeah, and doing it with your best player.
Yeah, no question about that. By the way, I know this is a high school football show, but Roger Goodell just said at some point in the future he would like to see as many as 16 international games.
Get out of here,
in a season.
Dude. Oh, my God.
Is that one a week?
That would be almost one a week.
That's so ridiculous.
How about we make things better in the States, brother? How about we make games more affordable to come here in the States and watch? Get out of here.
I watched that game last night, and I watched that kickoff. And I thought, what is this? Legitimately, what am I watching? Roger Goodell is quickly entering Manfred territory.
I actually kind of like the kickoff thing.
I don't.
If it encourages more people to bring it out of the end zone. If it doesn't, now you look goofy for no reason. But if we end up proving the hypothesis of doing this will create more kickoff returns, I want the kickoff return to come back. I long for the days of watching Devin Hester high step it down the sideline and into the end zone. Yeah. We just don't get that anymore. I think if we can revive, if we can put some CPR and some chest compressions and get that sucker back to life, that part of the game back to life, I think that would benefit a little bit. And I think that is really good for strategy. I think teams that have two really good outside receivers or different types of runners could be very well utilized in that way.
I just think it looks weird.
It will take a while to get used to. I'm definitely not used to it. The aesthetic is not the same.
The aesthetic is not good.
The aesthetic.
Yeah, the aesthetic is not good. Field goal attempt is good. Eagles are on the board. Orangeburg-Wilkinson has finally given up their first point. It's 3-0 as they end the first quarter. We end hour number 1 here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Back for hour 2 next on the game.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When a work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Holzenbach Heating and Air, the Midlands residential HVAC specialist. Call us today at 803-685-7920. That's 803-685-7920. Holzenbach Heating and Air, proud supporter of Gamecock football.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here from Minuteman Press. As a business owner, it can be tough to get all of your office items and needs in one place, whether it's printing, signs, promotional products, or logoed apparel. The goal of Minuteman Press is to become your trusted partner and make promoting and marketing your business easy and less time-consuming, which is exactly why our offices and radio stations here at Cumulus Media trust their services. They can handle it all in one place, saving you time and money. At Minuteman Press, they design, print, and promote you. Learn more at mmpcolumbia.com.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
When there's work to do, ground to break, and a reputation to uphold, you need the powerful, durable Kubota RTVX, North America's #1 selling diesel utility vehicle. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months or save $300. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Pioneer Farm Equipment in Orangeburg, 1 mile off of I-26 exit 154B, or at pioneerfarmsc.com.
Honey, would you take a seat? I have a confession to make.
What is it? What's wrong?
Well, I was out driving today and I saw some hookers on the side of the road. A bunch of huge, professional, beautiful-looking hookers. So I did what I was supposed to do. I slowed down and I moved over.
You slowed down for the hookers?
Well, yeah, it's the law. There was a whole fleet of Schroeder's towing trucks assisting with an accident. Wait, what did you think I was talking about?
Schroeder's Towing reminds you to slow down and move over for all first responders.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Terry Ford, 107.5 The Game with my buddy Adam Vance from Sound and Images. Now, Adam wanted to come in, not so much talk about how great Sound and Images is as a business, wanted to address the cufflink controversy of you walking around with your initials on your shirts.
Terry, yes, I do have to address the cufflink issue. And yes, I would appreciate it if you went to soundandimages.net. We've got great commercial audiovisual products for you all day long. My man Paul McKeon, Tom James, I order some shirts. They come with initials. I come in here, I do a spoof, I do a spiff, whatever you call it.
It's a spot. That's okay. It's okay.
It's your world, boss. I do that, and then all of a sudden I get all this grief. I'm walking down the street. I'm going into, you name the store, and all these people are talking about my cufflinks. So now I'm getting my socks monogrammed. I've got my napkins, paper towel, you name it. Thanks, Terry.
Sound and Images, Adam Vance. If you want to reach out to Adam Vance, just go to soundandimages.net or call 803-791-3925.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
The home of the national champion Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all.
A Cumulus media station. It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show.
With Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5. The Game.
Welcome into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show, hour number 2 of the program. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird, Master Control, keeping things, running. We appreciate that. As Terry Ford adequately said earlier today, Ed runs that show. That's true.
He is very true, yes.
That's true.
Honestly, Ed is the only adult in the room.
Correct.
Without him, we were violating rules. We're getting in trouble. Yeah, he is technically in a separate room behind glass, but he is the only adult in the building to keep us from violating rules and being misbehaved.
we might have been misled. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines. Kale has an update from RNE and Westwood. What you got, Kale?
Hey guys, can you hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah,
you sound wonderful.
Okay. All right, great. So we got a good game here with a defensive battle so far. Richland Northeast leads 6-0. Only score so far was a tipped pass caused by this rain. It was intended for a Westwood receiver for Carrington Carter. Dropped out of his hands, and it was picked off by Chris Azusu for a 40-yard pick six. The extra point was blocked, though, so it was 6-0. And Westwood has the ball. They are on the RNE 45. So they are driving down the field, hoping to answer back on 2nd and 12.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, elements already playing a little bit of a factor. We tried to give a mock weather report earlier today.
Correct.
Is it raining or is it not raining?
Check no.
Yeah, check no. It ain't raining. Kale, the player to watch in this game was definitely Will Wilson. We've been very complimentary. He is balled out the first 2 weeks of the year, proving that he is the real deal. But how would you evaluate some of the performance you've gotten to see from him tonight?
So Westwood has actually so far come in with a pretty good game plan on defense. And Will Wilson has made a couple good plays, but some of them have been due to I guess you could say luck. It was a 3rd down and 7, and Will Wilson threw a pass. It was tipped by a Westwood defensive lineman and caught at the line to gain by Blake Patet for a 1st down. And they've brought pressure a few times to Wilson, causing him to have to throw the ball quicker and faster than intended. He's made a couple great passes, though, especially on 3rd downs, but hasn't been able to get in that end zone yet. So we're going to see what Wilson can do as this game pursues.
And how would you grade him handling a lot of that pressure, too? I know at certain times last year, the offensive line might have had some struggles, and whenever that breaks down, it's really hard to be able to engineer the offense. But just from your eye, for somebody that's going to be playing Division I football here very soon, he might be put in positions at another level where he's going to have to make quick decisions under duress. How would you kind of grade that tonight?
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job. He hasn't gotten sacked yet. If he doesn't find anybody, he's been throwing it away, but I'm surprised he hasn't ran it much this game so far. He's been doing that a lot in the first couple games, but he hasn't gone for a run yet.
Interesting. I would expect him to utilize his legs more as the evening goes on, but we shall see. Cale, we appreciate it. Thanks for keeping us updated, and I know we'll be hearing from you throughout the night, so we appreciate you always checking in with us.
Thank you, guys. I'll call back in a little bit.
All right, sounds good. That is Cale Wilson out at RNE and Westwood. Score update, Orangeburg Wilkinson 6, Airport 3. All right, so keep moving. No, that was a really good touchdown run around the edge. Got a key block down right off of the right side of the line and just turned upfield. Nobody, I mean, there were 3 guys chasing after him. And when you're a running back and your name is Derek Thomas, well...
When you're a football player and your name is Derek Thomas, I feel like that is a football player name.
Yeah, agreed. BYU leads SMU 7-3. The Braves are up 3-0 as well, playing the Toronto Blue Jays. And
the Reds have tied it up with the Mets. So we're
I need both of those things.
Thankfully, my boy Ellie De La Cruz, home run, his 23rd of the year.
He's basically the Ronald Acuna Jr. of Cincinnati.
He is. He is the only thing that has kept me from being morbidly depressed about my favorite baseball team, because everything else has gone down the toilet. But help is on the way. Hunter Green's had a really good year. Nick Lodolo's been unhealthy most of the year, but when he's pitched, he's been great. And Rhett Lauder got called up, and I am very excited for that 3-headed pitching monster in 2026 to maybe get us to the playoffs.
Next year's 2025.
Exactly.
Elijah's collecting scores as we go, so we'll get you a full rundown of the scoreboard here shortly. Do want to remind you that tomorrow there is a game of some import at 3:30 for first place in the SEC.
That's right, for first place. The first place in the Southeastern Conference on the line between 2 traditional SEC powers.
That's true. Well, one of them's been to Atlanta.
That's true. Kentucky never has.
That's,
suckers.
Yeah, take that, Mark Stoops. But there is other action tomorrow as well. We'll get to that other one in a second. Texas is at Michigan.
That's a big one. That's where game day is at.
And big noon kickoff.
Yeah. Ooh, they should fight. They should do like the old Anchorman scene where they should all in their suits get into like a little mini street fight.
Arkansas really at Oklahoma State.
The game that could save Sam Pittman's job.
That's a big game.
Look,
Mike Gundy. Have you seen where Mike Gundy's doing his call-in show?
Oh, it's the best.
Doing it in old folks' home?
It's the best. Yes, it's the coolest.
And he takes phone calls.
And he takes phone calls. He's not ducking the smoke. He's taking the phone calls. He's hanging out with the old folks home, and they look so happy. Have you seen the pictures of them watching him? They look so happy to be watching Mike Gundy talk about the Pokes.
That's right.
Great. It's great. I love that. I mean,
whatever else Mike Gundy wants to talk about.
Whatever else he likes to talk about. He's got a variety of interests, but that is one of the cooler things in college football.
Georgia Tech is at Syracuse. Kansas State's at Tulane. Sneaky.
That could be a sneaky underdog win. I mean, that's never an easy. I know Tulane lost the coach. Willie Fritz is at Houston, and Tulane's having to kind of rebuild a bit. Lost a lot of players, but they still have a lot of talent. Still an abundance of talent, and that's never an easy place because it's such a small stadium.
Right.
For a team like Kansas State to go into that, it's definitely, I don't want to say shell shock, but it's something you're, not accustomed to having to do. So the elements can be ripe for a little bit of weirdness, which we're all for.
2-point conversion attempt is good. Orangeburg Wilkinson leads 8-3. Let's see here.
Let's change that on the old score sheet here.
Iowa and Iowa State. The Cyhawk Trophy's up for grabs tomorrow. That's the CBS game of the week. I'll never get used to it.
CBS game of the week.
I'll never get used to it. Could have had Carolina and Kentucky. Nope. Cal is at Auburn.
Even I think Iowa and Iowa State are just as good as South Carolina and Kentucky, but the aesthetic is not the same.
The aesthetic
and
is
that
bad.
game is a first team to 10 wins.
Correct. South Florida goes to Bama tomorrow night.
Ooh.
Kansas is at Illinois.
Interesting game. Even though I'm not really big on Illinois, I'm not a believer in them. I do think Kansas should run them out of the building, but when was the last time Kansas has been a road favorite against a Power 4 opponent?
It's true.
That just doesn't happen often.
Tennessee and NC State meet at neutral field. That's the Mayo game. Is that the Mayo game?
That is the Duke's Mayo game.
The Duke's Mayo game in Charlotte. There's only one Mayo in my book, sir.
Yes, sir. This is the Duke's household.
Colorado is at Nebraska. Everyone's talking.
matchups.
Everyone's talking about Nebraska's offense and Dylan Raiola and how good he is and how good he's going to be. I got 2 words for you.
Ooh, what are those 2 words? I love playing this game.
Marcus Satterfield. All right, so Houston.
Well, doesn't that mean that we should double his passing yards for what real passing yards are?
Yes,
He threw for 5,000 yards in a Marcus Satterfield season. He actually had 10,000. So you adjust it.
Give him the elevator.
We
right?
grade to a scale.
Yeah. Houston is at Oklahoma. Sneaky. Houston and Oklahoma is being played on the SEC network tomorrow night. And then App State.
Just the way God intended.
App State is at Clemson. If you're up there in Death Valley tomorrow, don't let App State hang.
That's rule number 1 of playing Appalachian State. Do not let them hang after the first quarter.
Take it from people who've seen things happen.
Snatch the belief from their souls because belief is the most powerful drug in the world. And if they catch a whiff of it, they're going to go into your house, raid the fridge, eat all the cookies, pee on your rug, and then leave. That is what Appalachian State does.
And we're not talking about Michigan. We're talking about what they did to Texas A&M and College Station last season.
And what they did almost did to North Carolina a couple of years ago.
And what they did to South Carolina in 19.
South Carolina. They have done this to so many people. What they almost did to Tennessee in the opener when Tennessee was a top 10 team in 2016.
And you don't have an offense right now, so don't keep them around.
Don't play around with those fellas. No, that
They're
could
the
be a very
Mountaineers
dangerous
for a reason. Couple of score updates from the Twitters. Or the artist formerly known as Twitter.
It's still Twitter.
Chris hits me. Edisto leads 8-0 over Calhoun. Dorman is up 7-0 on Greenwood with 10 minutes to go in the first half of play.
Dorman over Greenwood.
Upset? Question mark?
What was that first one again?
I got to go back to it now. You made me go back to it. Edisto 8, Calhoun 0.
Ooh, Edisto 8, Calhoun 0. That would be a big one for Edisto. They're 0-2. They're trying to get on the board. They need a win.
They need a win. They need to win something fierce. Give you a few more. We're going to hit a full scoreboard rundown here in just a bit, but I want to give you a few. Dutch Fork still leads 3-0 over Ridgeview.
Make it 10-0.
10-0.
Maurice Anderson touchdown rush on the ground.
Look at you. Fairfield Central 28, C.A. Johnson 0.
Ooh.
In the second quarter. Central. How about a good one here? How about this ball game? Batesburg, Leesville 16, Abbeville 14.
Oh, that was just 7-0 not too long ago. That's going to end up being our game of the night. Justin, I love games between good small schools, especially when one small school is considered to be a power. And then there's one like Batesburg, Leesville, a small town, small community.
Scrappy.
They're scrappy. They're
great
playing
barbecue.
The underdog. Very great. Yeah. Sheely's?
You darn right it
That's
is.
right. It is Sheila's. I've had it before. I'm just not as familiar with barbecue around here. I'm still getting new to it. You know, I'm still relatively new to the area. But I remember going to Batesburg, Leesville. I was at a Lexington County Blowfish game.
Yeah, you were.
And
my stomping grounds.
I know who catered. I know who catered pretty well.
You got in? You got into that? You know, when I worked there, I couldn't even get into that one.
Well, I worked for it took working for the Lexington Chronicle.
I worked for the actual team.
And they wouldn't let you in.
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Wow. That was.
No. Golly. No, those were really good nights. When I was in upper management, I was able to get into, because we had the leftovers.
But even, hey, Sheila's leftovers are still as good.
Nothing's better than being, when you're single and you're, eating whatever you can for a summer, that plate of barbecue at 1 a.m.
Oh, it hits.
Nothing better.
Oh, it hits, man.
Nothing better than that at that moment. Hartsville leads Camden 14-0. And Chapin scores a lot of points.
They can't stop, actually. I don't know if they know how to stop scoring.
It's 27-0 over Spring Valley, if my scoreboard is correct. And I would like to know if my scoreboard's correct. I think it is.
It very well could be.
That is
they
insane.
were up 14-0 like 2 segments ago.
Yeah, they're they're a good football team.
Look, if the defense is able to get some stops and be able to do just enough to win football games, look, Brady Albro put up some really good passing numbers last year. They got a lot of good receivers coming back, a lot of good players at skill positions. Why can't they put up a lot of points against teams in their region and be able to surprise somebody? Between Chapin and River Bluff, I can see one of them being this year's White Knoll.
Sure. Gaffney leads Greenville 14-7. Woodruff over Emerald 21-0. And that's all I've got on my scoreboard as it stands right now, because I'm trying to find other games as they roll in. By the way, this airport game tonight is a trophy game.
Oh, is this?
Still working on what the trophy is and what the significance of it is. But yes, it is a trophy game. 44-yard punt return for touchdown. Chapin leads Spring Valley 27-0 with 4:50 to go in the first quarter. Points.
Wow.
If Chapin wins this game, by the way, I know it's over. I mean, Spring Valley is not very good.
But Spring Valley 0-2, tough start.
I mean, they got to be getting votes at that point. They got to be in, right? Got to be in the top 10 by that point,
look,
right?
I don't care who you're playing. If you're scoring 50-plus a game, man, I mean, that seems pretty applicable to a lot of other teams you're going to be playing throughout the season, even if the competition stiffens a little bit.
You're doubling up your opponents. That region's loaded with undefeated teams, by the way. The only team that isn't undefeated is White Knoll. They're 1-1.
Justin Hall, is your offense from Ireland?
No,
because it's been doubling up some other schools.
Well done
in the state.
Well done,
Chapin's.
Well done. By the way, the American national anthem has been performed in Brazil.
I've ever said.
Yeah, well, that's why I kept going. They're getting ready to kick off. Really quick? I know I got to hit a break. Is that an NFC Championship game preview? Packers,
I don't
Eagles?
know if I believe in either team to make it that far. I think this is the Faker Bowl. I think both of these teams will.
Was it an AFC preview last night?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel really good. I think those two teams, man, are just head and shoulders even above some of the other really good teams in the AFC, just because I think the other ones, like, your Bengals, your Bills, your Dolphins, your Jets, they all have some fatal flaws. I think Ravens and Chiefs might just have the two most well-rounded.
The Jets have significant flaws, and all of them have been fatal, and all of them have been fatal since 1969.
And you know what that's called?
Aaron Rodgers.
Being the Jets.
Also that.
Being the Jets is their fatal flaw.
As I've always said, my birthday will go down in infamy. As a recovering Jets fan, I was watching that Thanksgiving night when Mark Sanchez ran into the rear end of his own offensive line.
The butt fumble, one of the greatest plays in the history of the NFL.
We'll have a full scoreboard rundown when we come back right here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the Game.
Enjoy Gamecock football Saturday at Columbia Craft Brewing Company on Green Street. Whether the game is home or away, Columbia Craft can be your tailgate headquarters. Enjoy a tasty treat from their lineup of local food trucks with any of Columbia Craft brews. Locally owned and operated, the enthusiasm Columbia Craft drinkers have for game days is awesome. Be there each Saturday to experience a new kind of tailgating. Columbia Craft is proudly distributed throughout the Midlands by KW Beverage. To try some of the brews handcrafted in Columbia, go to kwbeverage.com and hit the product hunter to find locations.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Men's Clinic. Too often guys won't go to the doctor when they're feeling off, whether it's because they think they can tough it out or because they just don't want to talk about it. Don't be that guy. Get to feeling better after you see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. They are experts in health care for men and dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. You can schedule a free consultation by calling 803-875-MENS and learn more online at themensclinicsc.com.
What's up, Gamecocks? Summer is officially here, and those famously hot temps, they aren't going anywhere soon. Super hot days can be incredibly stressful on your lawn, and even more stressful on the person maintaining it. So don't spend hours pushing around an old lawnmower or going 2 miles an hour on a bumpy old rider. Come to Cato's Power Equipment. Whether you have just a few weeds or tons of acres of grass to keep cut, our huge selection of Toro, Bravely, and Aaron zero turns will make short work of your yard. Guaranteed. Spend more time where it matters this summer. And like Cato's Power Equipment, help make your yard an oasis, not a chore.
South Carolina weather can be a little crazy. Make sure your biggest investment is protected. Call the guys in the powder blue trucks, the Guttermen. They've been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 40 years. Call the Guttermen today at 791-7147. That's 791-7147.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the Guttermen.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show
with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. It is 8:17 p.m. here on the East Coast. And as games are winding, this is great stuff. We have a TV game with a coach set to join us after that game is over, already with 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm feeling good about where we are in getting Coach Shane Fiddler on the program.
Great pace of that game.
Again, as long as things work out on the scoreboard. But these games are moving at some pace, so we have some updates, and we give them to you now. Mr. Elijah Campbell hits us. I feel like I should put on a Hawaiian shirt now.
I wear a Hawaiian shirt almost every day of my life. You would have thought I was born in a Tommy Bahama. But anyway, here are the scoreboard updates right now. Most of these games either late first, early second, or mid-second. We'll start off Irmo, 14, Butler, North Carolina, nothing. An update from Swansea and Wagner Sally. It was 8-7. Swansea struck first, but now a nice little run for Swansea. Swansea leads 18-8. They're trying to go to 3-0. Midland Valley, upset of the night maybe. They lead Lexington 14-3. Chapin scoring over 50 points a game so far this year. They can't stop scoring points. It's like they're addicted to it. They just can't stop no matter what you tell them. Chapin 34, Spring Valley nothing. Batesburg Leesville 16, Abbeville 14. Upset of the night? Quite possibly. Keep an eye out on that one. White Knoll, after the very disappointing loss where they blew a big lead in the fourth quarter against Sumter, bouncing back just fine. They lead Brooklyn Casey by a score of 14-0. West Florence is up on Marion 14-0. Hartsville also up on Camden 14-0. A little bit of a surprise here, maybe?
Yeah, slight.
If it ends up being a blowout, I think that's a fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Camden doesn't score a point, then we might have something. But I can't put that in shocking yet.
No, quite not. Quick update. As soon as I give the score for Swansea Wagner Sally bounces back. They score touchdown. PAT pending. It is 18-14 Swansea. Orangeburg Wilkinson 8. The Fighting Justin Halls of Airport 3.
It's a defensive slugfest.
It is a defensive slugfest. 4:56 to go in the first half, and Airport is driving. They can take the lead on this right here.
Check that. OW has the ball.
Oh, just kidding. No, I read that backwards. Disregard. Dutch Fork 10, Ridgeview nothing. That one's still pretty early on. Dorman leads Greenwood 7-0. Edisto looking for win number 1. They lead Calhoun 8-0. Fairfield Central up all over C.A. Johnson by a score of 28-0. Gaffney leads Greenville 14-7. River Bluff up on Nation Ford 14-10. Our Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show game of the week. RNE against Westwood. RNE leads 6-0. Getting you some other scores from around the state here. South Aiken and North Augusta in the second quarter tied at 7. Still no reported score in Branchville and ALA. No reported score in Manning and Lake Marion. Finally, somebody has scored on Ben Lippen. That somebody is Wilson Hall. They are up on Ben Lippen 8-7 in quarter number 2. Palmetto up on Travelers Rest 17-0. AC Flora up on Christ School from North Carolina by a score of 10-7. That looks to be in the second quarter. Jefferson Davis in Conway Christian, no reported score there, as well as Holy Hill and Holy Trinity Classical Christian. That's a mouthful, but no scores on the board so far. Wynn and King, no score as well. Newberry Academy and Francis Hugh Wardlaw, also no scores. Lots of names. Oakbrook, Lawrence Academy, also scoreless. Trying to find some more with some reported scores to give to you. I look at a lot of donuts right now. McBee leading Latta 21-0. Latta was a part of the undefeated club last week. They got ejected from it. You didn't have to go home, but you can't stay here, brother. But they look to be getting loss number 2. They are down 21 big ones to McBee. Other scores from around the state. Scotland in Marlborough County tied at 7. It looks like that one's late in the first quarter. East Clarendon up on Hardyville 8-0. Andrews leads Carver's Bay by a score of 8-0. Lee Central up on Chesterfield. Chesterfield, one of the few undefeated teams in their classification. They're trailing Lee Central 13-7. Lamar, not Jackson, leads Pageland Central 6-0. And that looks to be all of the scores that we have reported so far. Oh, nope, just kidding. Belton, Honey-a-Path, they're up on the Fighting Captain David Dares of Lawrence, 14-3. That one looks to be in the second quarter. Woodruff up on Emerald, 28-8. And Brooklyn Casey scores. They cut that deficit in half. It's 14-7. White Knoll still up. Easley up on Wade Hampton, 14-0. Sumter up on Myrtle Beach, 21-6. Lucy G. Beckham on the roads picked up a 2-touchdown lead over St. James. They're up 21-7. Spartanburg up 10-0 on Broome. It's a fun game to keep an eye on tonight. One of the big games that we had to keep an eye on tonight, Northwestern and South Florence. Northwestern up 2 touchdowns. South Florence slicking down the barrel of being 1-2. Not where you want to be for a team with state championship aspirations. Nation Fort just scored a touchdown on River Bluff. They now lead the Gators 17-14. Goose Creek's up on James Island 7-0. Stratford and Fort Dorchester knotted up at 10. Dutch Fort just scored another touchdown, so now that makes it 17-0 over Ridgeview. Dorman's leading Greenwood by a score of 10-0. Conway's up on Sherraw 8-6. Clover is pummeling Palisades. Palisades? The Pumas? Apparently it's a school in Charlotte, but it looks like they are the Palisades Pumas. Great name, but not a great performance tonight. Clover up 35-6. Carolina Forest is taking on Huff. They're down at the half, 7-0. Boiling Springs all over the Fighting Debo Samuels of Chapman. They're up 28-0. Blythewood 7, Fort Mill 0. Somerville down, trailing the Fighting Chris Deerings of Berkeley, 14-10.
Stags.
The Stags up. That'd be a big win over Somerville. That's a resume builder.
They're debuting new unis too.
Oh, what better way to display those new unis than to beat Somerville? Ashley Ridge all up on Wando right now, 28-0. That's kind of a surprising one over in the Low Country. West Side shutting out TL Hanna. We talked about how good West Side's offense is. Well, they're scoring a lot of points and they're not giving up any. They're leading TL Hanna 21-0. JL Mann leads Daniel, a member on the second floor of the undefeated club. They're up 21-3. Daniel with a steep hole to climb out of. Savannah Country Day up on Bluffton 21-6. And Savannah Christian crushes Oceanside Collegiate. The Land Shark season, their rough start gets a little bit rougher. They lose 44-20.
Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines after that, because I need to give Elijah a break.
My mouth is so dry.
Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Roger checks in for the first time tonight. Roger, what you got?
Yeah, Thomas Haven, 27. Albert put up nothing, 4 minutes in the first quarter.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That's Roger with call number 1 tonight, and we'll be hearing from him plenty more throughout the evening as we go. Loyal listener. Loyal to the program. How about a freshman quarterback laying his body on the line, scrambling around in the backfield and getting knocked out of bounds, about 10 yards out of bounds, and he got shoved that far. It wasn't an illegal play. Field position matters. I've watched airport football enough under Shane Fiddler to know this. When they get into a defensive battle, that offense is good enough to score in short field situations.
Defense keeps them in it, then that's the game they want to play.
And watch this quarterback play here.
Woo!
Oh, that's a freshman.
That's called hitting the right joystick and playing a foot in the ground.
It is 8-3, and Airport is in the red zone. They are in the red zone after a punt was seemingly tipped. I had no question that it was a bad punt at best. Tipped at worst. It was a 3rd and 4, and I think they got the first down. 2 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the first half of a TV game. That's because these teams play defense and they run the ball.
Look at that. And that makes for an efficient game. As somebody who used to write for newspapers, whether it be as a sports editor or a freelancer, let me tell you, the games that were the best ones to do are the games where teams ground and pound.
Right.
And they run a lot of clock. They limit the possessions. They get your rear home, your rear home by, 10 o'clock sometimes? I mean, it's efficient. Then you have the rest of your Friday night.
There's only 2 ways high school football should go if you're covering it. You want a close game. I understand. Yeah. You want a good game to cover. You want
a good story.
As a fan, you want a fun game. You want a good story to write. I get it. But if you're like the PA guy, you either want that clock to be moving in a slugfest or you want that clock to be moving because it's running and can't stop legally.
That's right. Running clock. Yes, having a game that if it's going to be out of hand, let it get out of hand enough to where that clock be running.
Yeah, broken play there on 2nd and goal, and yet your freshman quarterback gets wrapped up and superplexed inside the 5.
He's tough as nails, man.
He is, man.
He is taking some shots, but he is getting right back up, man. You got to applaud the toughness.
Yeah, 3rd and goal. There's a flag on the play. Probably going to be holding unless it's going against Orangeburg Wilkinson, but we'll find out.
It's on the sideline.
Yeah, minute 42.
Illegal shift.
So that'll set them back, which is, I mean, I can't say anything out of turn. That's fine. 7-6. BYU leads SMU. SMU's colors are red, white, and blue. If you know what college game day segment I'm talking about from yesteryear, then you know we can't finish that quote. That is a very weird thing to see, an ACC logo on the field at SMU.
Or hearing that SMU BYU is an ACC Big 12 matchup. Also,
that's right. BYU's in the Big 12.
They are in the Big 12.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a thing. Gosh, I'm still getting used to this whole thing. Connor Stallions is now an interim head coach at Mumford High School in Detroit. Take that for what it's worth. That's going to be pass interference in the end zone. You got to turn your head around.
Yes, Airport's going to get that 1st and goal at the 1. I think they're close enough for it to be at the 1.
They were in they were inside the 10. Okay. So I'd like to think that. Barnwell and Bamberg Earhart tied at 7 under 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Good Chris, stuff. big fan of the show is Chris, by the way. I want to make that known. Chris,
we're big fans of you.
Chris tweeted at me, X'd at me. Well, I don't know what do we call that now. He posted at me. I don't know what we call it. In like June, asking about the show. And I'm like, I think. Well, I'll leave it up to Terry, but I think it's coming back.
Yeah.
We always knew. Got to build the drama. Got to build this. We
got to drum up the
anticipation.
Support. Make people think that you're going to lose it. If people think they're going to lose something, they're going to be more proactive in supporting it. That's how it tends.
Well, in most things, that tends to be how it goes. Maybe not in other things, but in most things, that is the case. A lot of great action tonight. We're having fun here on a week 2, 3rd week of the season. Depends on how you want to break it down. North Augusta and South Aiken, 14-7. Do you know what South Aiken's mascot is?
Oh, without looking.
You wouldn't get it from their logo.
So you wouldn't get it from the logo?
No.
And the logo's a horse, right?
No. But
I'm tripping. Okay.
They're the thoroughbreds. But their logo on here is an A and an S, like South Aiken. You would think it's a serpent. You would think they would be the snakes or something.
Looking at it on your computer screen right now, the way the A is in terms of the font, and it almost looks like the Anheuser-Busch logo.
That's fair. That's a good call.
From this angle, from what I'm looking at right now. I don't know if that's like a secondary logo or not, but
it might be. Wilson Hall leads 15-7 over Ben Lippen now. That one in the second quarter. You mentioned Dorman over Greenwood, 10-0.
Dorman needs to bounce back, man. The beating they took last week out of state Airport scores a touchdown. They in?
They are, and there's the light show. There's the light show. I did PA at Hammond when they first debuted those lights. The first time you crank those things up, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. We'll have more of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. What a way to go to break. Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird, I'm Justin Hall. We'll be back on the game. Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full service dine-in buffet with barbecue, ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road has new hours. Now open from 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you.
Hey, Mom and Dad, you know what back to school really means. It means rides. Rides to school, rides to practice, rides to meet other rides, rides to everywhere. This year, make all those rides comfortable, safe, and affordable with a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. School, soccer, football, dance, wherever you're headed. Ride in style and comfort with amazing technology, leading-edge safety, great gas mileage, and room for everything. Enjoy a no-hassle pricing and no-pressure buying experience at Honda of Columbia. Highway 378 at I-20.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show
with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back in the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on The Game. Halfway through hour number 2 here of the program as we're watching scores roll in from across the state. Airport takes the lead over Orangeburg-Wilkinson. Again, this is the TV game here in the Midlands, here in the Columbia area, so we're going to be able to get you clear and concise updates from this game more than any other game in the state, simply because we have our eyes on it, and that's kind of how these things work. So
mine's pretty well.
Mine are decent. Airport's up 9-8. They were down 8-3. I took my eyes off the screen and did not see if they missed the extra point or went for 2 and didn't get it. But they're going to be playing field position now because they just pinned Orangeburg-Wilkinson back inside the 20 on the kickoff return. But 39 seconds to go in the first half there.
But they are in the running for the score of the night, the Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show. Score of the night, 9-8. That would be a thrilling baseball game.
It would. Brandon tells me, by the way, my contact over at Airport tells me that they went for 2 and did not get it. Let's go to Kale on the Love Chevy phone lines next. Kale, an update from RNE and Westwood.
Hey, guys. How are we doing?
Well, we're great.
Oh, fantastic.
How are you?
Excited to hear this update. This has been a closer game than expected at last report.
Definitely is. So Richland Northeast, I know I said on my last call Westwood was driving down the field. They got held to a 4th down. They tried to kick a field goal. It was just short, so Westwood did remain scoreless. And Richland Northeast responded with a touchdown drive capped off by a Will Wilson touchdown pass on the screen pass to number 17, Isaiah Smalls. So Wilson has thrown for a touchdown pass today, and on their last drive, he did try to run a couple times. He was able to pick up 15 yards on one of the first plays of the drive. They started it from their own 5-yard line, and they were driving down the field, getting to midfield. But then the Westwood defense started getting to them. They put together 2 sacks on Wilson in the span of 3 plays. After that second sack, Coach Wilson for the Cavaliers just wanted to take it into the locker room. So Richland Northeast does lead 12-0 after the touchdown because they tried to go for 2, but it was broken up by that Westwood defense.
It sounds like Westwood, despite not being able to put anything on the board, is playing really well in the trenches. I mean, it sounds like, with Will Wilson having to scramble a little bit, getting getting sacked a few times. And you mentioned it before the game. We laughed a little bit because Westwood, on the field saying, "Hey, this is a new Westwood. This is a new Westwood," and you're like, "Well, they were 1-9 last year." It sounds like in the trenches, though, they're not playing like a team that was 1-9 last year.
No, they're definitely not, and it's funny because on their offensive drives, even though they have no points, they have not gone on a single 3-and-out. So they have started out their drives trying to run the ball. They've been sticking to the run game, and every run they would get 8 or 9 yards a pop, and then they would get tackled for a loss of 3 or 4, and that would stall the entire drive. So then they would try to either go for it or they would have to punt it on 4th down. They haven't really tried to pass it much ever since the tipped pass that ended in an interception. So I'm not sure really what the deal is. The interception was not Carter's fault. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's just lacking confidence after that or what. But I think that Westwood needs to try to get the passing game going because right now they're looking a little too one-dimensional, and this Cavaliers defense is starting to catch on, which is why they still have 0 on the board.
Great report, Kale. We appreciate it, man. We look forward to hearing more in the second half.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Good stuff.
I've got interesting things happening across the sports world. Including high school football.
Did Jalen Hurts throw an interception?
Jalen Hurts threw an interception to Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney's
football
first
team here. Come
first
on.
game as a Packer. And he gets an interception, and he does it not on American soil.
So does it really count?
Yes,
does an interception on foreign soil count against my fantasy team?
Yes, it does.
Jalen Hurts throws the pick. Oh!
Yes, it does. Got an update at the half in Abbeville. Batesburg-Leesville converts a fake punt on 4th and 12. They keep the drive going, and they throw a 22-yard touchdown at the buzzer. They lead Abbeville 30-21 at the half.
What a play!
At the half. That is a shocking, in my opinion.
Faking a punt on 4th and 12 and then hitting a score as time expires to end the half.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of guts.
Guts is the word we'll use.
That is the FCC appropriate word we're going to use. But
you could use the Bill Raftery onions.
Onions.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
a couple months ahead on that one.
Yes, that's right. Oh, man, I love Bill Raftery. But Bill Raftery would be chopping up so many onions in here, we would be in tears because that takes a lot of them to be able to catch your opponent by surprise on 4th and 12, score that touchdown. You know how exciting it's got to be in that locker room right now? You just got to calm everybody down and say, look, you're a half away from pulling off an upset. Let's keep doing what we're doing. And look, that would be a remarkable win for Batesburg-Leesville to pull off. And that's going to be a really fun one to monitor for the rest of the night.
Hillcrest leads Greer 21-14. Now I'm looking at the artist formerly known as Twitter. The Bishop England Bishops lead Hanahan 14-7. And the Mets have taken the lead.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, it's a 3-2 ball game now after Jose Iglesias hits an RBI, what looks to be an RBI double, and Pete Alonso's in standing. Don't let him score in standing. Ugh. Okay, anyway.
My boy Randy hit me on Twitter and said, hey, watching the Reds right now, we believe in you, because he's a Braves fan. I said, buddy, I know we're all Reds tonight, Randy, but I'm very sorry to have to do this to you. You have to cheer for the Cincinnati Reds. Now you get to live what it's like in my hell, my personal hell every summer.
Well, I will tell you this. You made fun of the Rockies earlier. Rockies beat the Brewers tonight 3-2. Blocked punt returned for a score. Northwestern still in the first half. They lead South Florence 34-0.
Good Lord. What's wrong with South Florence, man? There's some injuries.
What's right with Northwestern?
There's a lot right with Northwestern, but dude, South Florence was the number one team in 4A to start the season. I thought they're the clear favorite. They have one of the best players in the state. Is he not playing? Is there something that I'm missing here because they lost last week? I know there's a lot right with Northwestern. That ain't surprising. It's not surprising that they even win by 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns, but they up by, what, 5 almost?
Almost.
That's a stunner.
The News and Reporter out of Chester County. They've been covering Chester County for 150 years.
For a bit.
Great Falls leads Allendale Fairfax 6-0. Also, the concession stand is out of Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Ooh. You know what?
You can't win them all.
You know what this reminds me of, Justin Hall?
What?
One of my favorite sayings, not just in sports, because this is applicable to any aspect of life, but failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And if you didn't get enough Chick-fil-A sandwiches,
that's on you.
You prepared yourself to fail Friday night.
That's on you.
That's on you. That is school error. E as an error for scoring this like a baseball game. As an error on the school. So, lesson learned, and you're supposed to be teaching these kids a good example. Don't let it happen again.
I agree 100%. You always order more than you need. That's in anything.
Yes.
Just order more than you need.
You'd always rather have too much than not enough.
By the way, we do have, I got time here, the last availability report. That is mandatory.
Don't you dare call it an injury report.
Emory Floyd is out. Ja'Kai Moore is out.
Ja'Kai Moore might be out for a while.
A while. David Spalding is questionable. Bengali Kamara, Brian Thomas Jr., and Gilbert Edmond all listed as probable.
Okay, that's good.
For Kentucky, Chip Trayanum, out. Hardly Gilmore, out. Brandon White, out. Devin Smith, out. Darian Henry Young, out. Cortland Ford, out. Tavian Gadsden, out. Josiah Hayes, out. DJ Waller Jr., questionable. And Keyshawn Silver, Jamarian Wilcox, Grant Godfrey, and Josh Caddis, all listed as probable. But that is 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, a linebacker, 3 defensive linemen, and an offensive lineman all out for Kentucky tomorrow.
Their depth is going to be hurting, and that's if you want to look for road.
Can you make it a 4-quarter game?
Exactly. If you want to look for a roadmap to winning this game, force turnovers.
Agreed.
and keep this thing within a score into the fourth quarter where you are going to have much fresher wheels in the trenches than they're going to.
The last time the Gamecocks went up to Kroger Field, they won.
It did take a scoop and score. The turnovers matter in this series. 2 big turnovers that the South Carolina forced on Kentucky at Willie B just last year proved to make the entire difference of the game. Turnover margin's big in this series. It's big in every game, but I feel like in this series, the last 2 years, it's been absolutely massive in terms of its impact on the result.
As we wait for some halftime scores, I want to keep on this for just a second because these are two teams that think they should beat each other.
Yeah,
and the fan bases,
rivalries.
And the fan bases think there's no way we can be a successful team and lose to blank.
Yes.
Like Carolina, when you look at their football season, the key to success this year, I mean, seriously, the key to 6-6 and pushing to 7-5, or maybe 8-4 if you get hot, right? And I think that's your ceiling this year. I think that's a ceiling this year's 8-4, is this game right here.
Yeah. Oh, it's massive.
Because your most reasonable expectation is 2-2 at the end of September.
Yes.
That's your most reasonable. But I probably shouldn't have led with that. Gamecock Larry is on the line. Gamecock Larry, how you doing?
Well, I had a kind of bad night and day, but I just woke up. But you know what? The same old number popped in my head. Gamecocks 34, Kentucky 24. It's going to be a little bit more scoring than it's been, but our defense is going to hold them down, and then we're going to win 34-24. And you Clemson fans, old Gamecock Larry got some news for you. Appalachian State 27, Clemson 24. Go Gamecocks. Love y'all. Talk to you later.
That's Gamecock Larry.
Gamecock Larry.
Just
Thank you,
walk
sir.
off.
I got the free preview though because Gamecock Larry was not very thrilled with me saying that South Carolina wasn't going to score more than 13 points. So he called during the post-game show and to voice his displeasure, which I'm very happy to. I'm happy to accept.
And you took that call because you were in there.
And I took that call because I had to. Yes, because the call screener for the post-game show
is you
with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell is indeed Elijah Campbell. So I did answer the phone and he did give me the early preview. This was yesterday. He said, I'm going to call in with this score for the shows tomorrow. And it's going to be 34-24 South Carolina. So I knew when he was getting ready to reel off that number. I knew exactly what it was. I had the full day preview to let it simmer. Fair. So Gamecock Larry, let the record show, has been on that take for at least 32 hours.
Fair enough. At least he kept the score the same.
He kept it the same. He has not budged. To his credit, he has not budged.
Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines. Willie is up next. Hey, Willie, what you got for us?
I got these 3 words for you. Words that you haven't heard in a long time. We shall see. And by the way, it's 32-2. Denmark Olar leading Burke High School.
Ooh, 32-2.
Ooh, that's another weird score of the night.
Weird score of the night, but we'll take it. Willie, we appreciate it. I know you have
and
your
by the way, go Bruins, let's beat those Eagles.
There it is. There it is, sir.
He was waiting. He was waiting for that part right there.
Good job. Thanks, Willie.
You must be an Eagle fan.
An alum, and a long line of alums. Scoreboard. Thank you, Willie. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Willie.
Thank you, Willie.
That's funny.
Always a pleasure to have Willie give us a call. We will be back, wrap up hour number 2 right after this on The Game.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. We find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From lazy days and spontaneous adventures to revving up and reconnecting, you can almost feel the excitement building, the road ahead, and a whole new season of possibilities. It's back to cool time right now at Love Chevy with amazing savings on a lot chock full of brand new Tahoes, Suburbans, and the totally redesigned Chevy Traverse. A bolder exterior design, turbocharged V6, best-in-class cargo area, plenty of space for the team and the tailgate. Speaking of football, every day is game day at Love Chevy, where it's all about the fundamentals, honesty, integrity, and straight talk. No ridiculous add-on stickers like the other guys. And who could forget about Love Chevy's $1,000 low price guarantee? Get back to cool today at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 at Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
Shepherd's Glass has provided commercial, residential, and auto glass installation, repair, and replacement to Columbia for over 50 years. Large retail storefronts, auto, custom shower enclosures, and mirrors for that remodeling or new construction project. Visit shepherdsglass.com to see and learn more. Now with 2 locations on Platte Springs Road in West Columbia and Chapin at 855 Chapin Road. shepherdsglass.com.
Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
I had this illness that really made me powerless over alcohol. I can't say to anyone, no, don't drink. But I can say that when you decide you don't want to drink, the door to AA is always open.
Visit aacolumbia.org for more information and to find an AA meeting near you.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast.
You're also saying the record's going to go down.
I'm saying the record's going down anyway. The guy.
I don't think you're off on this at all. Like, you're spot on here. I don't think this is an overreaction because we have no idea what we're reacting to.
Come react or overreact with us.
How would you say that? An overreaction, sir. Overreaction Monday. Wherever you listen, it's game over. Over, man.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show
with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Wrapping up hour number 2 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on The Game, 107.5, The Game TV, on the YouTubes. You can give us some information there. By the way, halftime stats between Airport and Orangeburg-Wilkinson on the screen above me. Orangeburg-Wilkinson, 97 yards rushing, -4 yards passing. Airport has 118 yards rushing, and the statistics just left the screen. So, rock fight.
What the hell, man? I was reading that.
Rock fight. And that's not KC. I think that's technically Springdale. Also, in other news from Chester County, the visitors' side concession. So the home concession stand is out of Chick-fil-A sandwiches. The visitors' side concession stand is now also out of boiled peanuts and nachos. Things not going well.
Failing to prepare is preparing to fail, my friends. And that adage rings so true even when it comes to the concession stands. You got to go back to the drawing board after this week.
By the way, Marcelo Zuna just took strike 3. Unfortunately, it was around his ankles. Thanks, William. That's
Wearing
the umpire's name.
Sick red jerseys, though. I do
the Friday Night Reds.
Yeah.
They're great. They used to wear those on Sundays, and they changed it. Quick update from the fourth quarter in Butler, North Carolina. Irmo jumped out to a 7-0 lead early. It's now 21-20. Irmo.
20. Oh.
Hanging around.
That one is getting a little dicey.
Hanging around.
Irmo again, second straight week. They jump out to a big lead, and they let somebody else hang around. That's you take wins, and the game's not over yet. They still got to win this thing. They got to hold on, but if they are able to hold on, I think that's one thing they're going to have to address because they didn't have a lot of that last year. A lot of last year was running clocks of half of their games or more, and they got into a couple close games in the playoffs, and you're going to have to take away some lessons from these games and how to be able to, seal the deal on some of these teams.
Brady Albro, according to Mark on Twitter, the artist formerly known, Brady Albro went down with apparent ankle injury.
Oh, no.
He's up and walking around, but Brock Smith is in. That's a classic. 3 minutes left to go in the first half at Spring Valley. And all the backup quarterback does is throw a 34-yard tutty to Stone Furry. You know his dad?
Oh, I heard his dad was a wide receiver for the 2008 Detroit Lions.
And the wide receivers coach for the Gamecocks.
That's right. Simultaneously, I've not seen both. I've not seen those guys in the same room at the same time.
It's true. Chapin leads Spring Valley at the half 40-0. So 2 words in the English language that PA guys and clock operators long to hear: running clock. In the second half.
Running clock.
Green Bay Packers up 6-0 in Brazil over the Philadelphia Eagles. How big is the distance between? How far is Lambeau Field from Lincoln Financial? Can we effort? I'm going to effort that.
Ooh, this might be something to consult our Maps app.
Also, Dutch Fork leads Ridgeview at the half, 31-0.
Oh man!
Last year might have been the year to get them.
Yep. Yeah. Last year was definitely the year to get them because I think Dutch Fork is. I can't say they ever left because they won the state championship last year.
They did,
but they were gone for the first 7 weeks of the regular season. Now they are so back, it is not even funny. And it's not like they ever left to begin with.
13 first downs to Ridgeview's 8, 16 carries for 69 yards for Dutch Fork, 12 for 17 for Ridgeview, 197 passing yards for the Silver Foxes, 33 plays, 266 yards of offense, to 30 plays for Ridgeview and 126 yards of offense. Ethan Offing has 7 carries for 38 yards. Maurice Anderson, the running back for Dutch Fork, has 2 touchdowns. Ethan Offing is 12 of 17 for $197. He's been sacked once and has 2 touchdowns, including one of 42 yards to KJ Smith. KJ Smith has 2 touchdown receptions on the night. And all of their scoring of touchdowns has come in the second quarter. They scored 28 points in the second quarter.
Tight in the first, and then they find an opportunity and they will take it and run with it.
Step on your throat.
God,
in order to do it. There's no question about that. Oh gosh, let's see. Yeah, Irmo and Butler 21-20. I'm looking for a few more here that I caught. When I see them on my screen, I usually have to like the tweet and keep rolling. Northwestern leads South Florence 34-0. We mentioned that one. Oh gracious. Riverside 21, Christchurch 14. Riverside,
21,
trying to get to 3-0 on the year.
To stay in that undefeated club, you say 21-14.
Right, and that suddenly becomes a very winnable region for them.
Man, Christchurch too. I know they had to change. They had to reclassify because
they're up to 3.
Their success. Yep, up to 3. They're the defending 1A state champions.
But they're
I believe
on the road at a 5A school.
And they're still hanging around. They're still hanging around.
Hanging tough.
And there's the thing, too. We talked about Burns being the best 0-2 team in the state because of the tough sledding they had for their first 2 games. All their games are going to be on the road. But I think Christchurch, you can fit into that category, too, because they had to play at Hammond at a tough game last week, and now they're against Riverside and playing, or scheduling way above their weight class.
Yeah.
It feels weird to say about anybody, but this could be the best 0-3 team in the state if Christchurch ends up losing this game. And again, it's still not over. We still have plenty of football left.
7-point deficit last check.
If they were to lose, that's an 0-3 team in Christchurch that doesn't play to what the record is.
Right. Gaffney leads Greenville 41-7 at the half.
Oh, goodness gracious.
What happened to Greenville?
Mazio Bennett ain't walking through that door.
They've been outscored to the half tonight. Oh, gosh, I'm doing math on the radio.
Oh, this is my favorite game. A dangerous game, but it's my favorite game.
Greenville has scored 68 points this season on offense.
Okay.
They've surrendered 132.
Ooh.
I will let you know
what that point differential is.
You will lose. I don't care what it is. It's 77? Am I right on that? That's quick math.
Oh, my goodness.
That whole region is being outscored. J.L. Mann's not, and T.L. Hanna's outscored their opponent by 3. They played 1 game. Other than that region's getting smacked around. River Bluff leads Nation Ford 28-17.
Yeah.
That one going to the half.
Minus 64-point differential for our friends over.
Quick radio math, always good.
Yeah, I used a calculator for that. I cheated.
Hour number 3 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game.
Keep your heating and air system operating at tip-top performance.
The cleaner you keep the system, the more efficiently it's going to run for you.
We come out, we clean the coils, change the filters.
All American!
Visit allamericanheatingandair.com to receive an instant $25 coupon toward your system's maintenance agreement.
Helping your home and all that you need to put you at ease. When you need us, we're there. All American Heating and Air.
Let our family help your family. We're All American.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams September holiday sale and get 30% off paints and stains from August 30th through September 9th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace! You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9318. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9318. That's 800-575-9318. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, Mom and Dad, you know what back to school really means. It means rides. Rides to school, rides to practice, rides to meet other rides, rides to everywhere. This year, make all those rides comfortable, safe, and affordable with a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. School, soccer, football, dance, wherever you're headed. Ride in style and comfort with amazing technology, leading-edge safety, great gas mileage, and room for everything. Enjoy a no-hassle pricing and no-pressure buying experience at Honda of Columbia. Highway 378 at I-20.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
The Guttermen have been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 47 years, building their business on relationships, not gimmicks. And you can call them locally, not a 1-800 number. Call them today at 791-7147 and look for the guys in the powder blue trucks.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
And we're happy to have been voted Lexington's best glass store for 15 years in a row.
Many drivers are unaware that your cracked windshields can be replaced, usually at absolutely no cost to you.
If all the high-end car dealerships in town can trust us to do their glass needs, so can you.
We service the Midlands both at our shop in Lexington, but we are also happy to come to you at home or work.
Find us online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
And remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
WNKT FM Eastover, Columbia. Congrats to the Gamecocks women on another national championship. A Cumulus media station. It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show
with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5.
The Game.
Welcome back in the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Hour number 3 of 4. That would mean that we are currently 50% of the way done as we continue the math.
Halftime.
We will be 75% of the way done at the end of this hour. And we'll be here until 11. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, this is what happens when we have an entire commercial break to do the math, as opposed to doing it live on air where we are bound and destined to mess it up.
You know where I learned how to do high-end math?
Airport High School.
Airport High School.
Look at that. Using your education, your airport education.
That's right.
To your professional career.
That's right. Lexington School District 2, baby.
Which teacher should we shout out here?
Oh gosh, yeah, I don't remember any of them.
Even if you said the name, they're probably.
Math. I went to journalism school in college, so that shows you how much import I put on math. Give me a second, I'll remember some math teachers I had.
If my math teachers lived in the state of South Carolina, listen. I know if poor Miss Huddleston tried to hear me do math on live radio and fail, she would vomit at the sound of it.
Freshman year, Mrs. Guyton.
Shout out Mrs. Guyton.
Here it is. That was geometry.
One.
That was geometry. Yeah, I did geometry in freshman year. Sophomore year was algebra 2. And Coach Morris.
Sophomore year.
Coach Morris the next 2 years. How can I forget Coach Morris? Coach Keith Morris, who just retired from being airport soccer coach, a great women's high school soccer coach. And I had him for pre-cal and then calculus AP in my senior year. Great time. 80s music. All the time, including during testing.
Love that. Okay. Yeah. I think that would make me sweating out a math test a whole lot better.
The outfield played a lot.
Nice. Okay, look at that. He's not just pulling out the 80s hits. That's a good
AP Gov and Econ with Coach Dramarecki, former cross country coach. Deborah Williams was my history teacher. I'm starting to remember him. Now it's starting to flow back again. That's been over a decade though. If I go back on that campus, that place has changed.
Your class 2013, right?
2013.
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah.
That's right. I mean,
we've been out
10 years removed.
We've been out of the game for
11.
A little bit. Actually, over 11.
Yeah.
This next May will be 12.
Wow. Yeah. I've been out of college for 7. Jeez. All right. 9-8 though. Airport leads. Third quarter. Let's go to Roger on the Love Chevy phone lines at 803-404-6100. Roger, what you got for us?
Score. Thomas Hamer 33. I'm at prep. Nothing. 6 men left in the third.
Orangeburg Prep getting shut out with 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
That's tough.
Appreciate
sliding.
it, Roger. Thank you, sir. Orangeburg Wilkinson just had a botched handoff that actually worked and picked up like 6 yards.
Just the way they drew it up.
Woo! 4th down and 1. They're in their own territory. They probably don't have to go for it if they don't want to. That'd be a risk of how deep they are in their own
territory. That would be quite the risk. It depends how good you feel about your offense.
I wouldn't feel good right now.
You only scored 8 points in the half. Yeah. I don't think you're clicking enough to go for it.
4:23 remaining in the fourth quarter. Butler leads Irmo 28-21. Irmo turned it over.
Something they have not done
breaking news.
often.
You got breaking news there? Irmo turning the ball over? That's probably my fault. Because if you're listening to the halftime show at 1:30, I was chatting with Terry and Tyler and talking about Irmo, and I said that A.J. Brand threw a interception last year, and that's probably my fault. I don't know if it was an interception, but that didn't work out well for him tonight. A turnover from somebody has given Butler the lead after that turnover and turning it into points. And it looks like Orangeburg Wilkinson either just scored on a very long big man touchdown or they are short at the 1. Oh, wow.
They went for it. We're just going to try to sneak it. I think they're just trying to sneak it, and that sneak turned into a very loud sneak.
Yeah.
I thought he got in. The tackle attempt is made. No, he's in. That's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown, but they can't review it. So if they mark him at the 1, then he's at the 1. Yeah, he's at the 1.
Brendan People, quarterback, freshman quarterback. We have a dueling freshman quarterbacks here. Yeah, well, look, if Airport gets a goal line stop right here, we're going to look at that play later on in the game and be like, that's a turning point.
Right.
Because he might have dodged a bullet if they don't end up punching it in.
No doubt about that. And Orangeburg Wilkinson's coach was railing on somebody down the sideline as that play was happening. He was fired up. The players left the area that they could be in. I don't think that's a penalty, but that's a coachable moment. Keenan leads Battery Creek 14-0 at the half as I look down at my scoreboard here. Landrum is up 34-20. That one's in the third quarter. Chesney, the Eagles, lead Walhalla 19-13. Huff is up on Carolina Forest 35-0. That one with 10 minutes to go in the ball game. See if we got a few more.
Chesney was 19-13? 1913. What a year. I remember
that was a great year.
Yesterday.
It was a great year.
I graduated high school 100 years afterward.
Barnwell, the Warhorses, lead Bamberg Earhart 14-7. Spartanburg, they were put down on the mat by Dutch Fork last week. Well, now they're pinning Broome to it. It's 31-6. Just started the third quarter there. Kudos for your fantasy team, Elijah. Saquon Barkley just ran for a first down. Not a touchdown.
Yeah,
but
18-yard touchdown reception after that. I just got the alert on ESPN.
Look
Thank you, ESPN Fantasy app. That's fantasy points for you, boy.
Hillcrest leads Greer 21-14. Hillcrest has amassed 333 total yards in the first half.
Ooh.
That's really good. 282 of those through the air.
That would tell me, too, that you are bound to start scoring more points. Yeah, I think 21 points in a half with that yardage total almost feels less than what you could get. If you're a disciple of Phil Steele and his yards per point metric, then you could believe that the second half might be a little kinder to Hillcrest.
You would think.
Yes.
You would think. Sumter dueling scores here. Sumter leads Myrtle Beach 28-12 at the half. Lakewood leads Dreher at the half. Leads Drea at the half. 14-0. So dueling scores there from the Sumter region. I don't know what you would call it. The Lakewoods area? Is that? I mean, I don't really know what else to call that area other than it's just all Sumter to me. 42-0. Chapin leading Spring Valley. They're just getting started in the third quarter. And let's see here. North Augusta leads South Aiken 21-14. Wilson Hall still up on Ben
North Augusta just scored. I refreshed my computer, just refreshed in real time. 27-14.
All
PAT
right.
pending.
PAT pending there. Orangeburg Wilkinson does cash it in for the score. They do not get the 2-point conversion. It is 14-9 over the Airport Eagles in the third quarter. First drive of the half. Palmetto leads Travelers Rest. The Devil Dogs trail 31-0. By the way, that was an insane throw and catch from Jalen Hurts to Saquon Barkley. If you haven't seen it,
I have not seen it. I've got a group text, a bunch of texts popping up on my phone right now, which is right next to my computer, and all I've gotten was a lot of FCC inappropriate words like a bleeping throw.
The throw was great. When you say Jalen Hurts to Saquon Barkley touchdown throw, you're thinking, okay, a little dump out in the flat and run it in from 20 yards. No. That's a wheel route, and in the front corner of the end zone, Barkley gets a foot down. Like, my computer's muted, so I can show this to you. I'm going to expand the screen. You take a look at that as we're keeping up with some scores here
this is
from across the state.
The fantasy team here.
SMU leading BYU 9-7.
Goodness gracious.
That one was 17 at the 17-yard line. BYU trying to get back in that ball game. Again, sports flying all over the place here. A lot of sportsing happening.
A lot of sportsing happening.
Chris hits me on X. Edisto 8, Calhoun County 4, bottom 7, 2 outs.
wait, is it really 8-4? It was 8-0 earlier.
It's 8-4.
Oh my God!
And,
running away with weird score of the night.
2 safeties for the Saints. Third quarter, 8-4.
Defense is well offense, done, baby.
In the words of Jay Phillips, well done, sir. That's good. That's good. Hopefully, Christchurch can get a little rally going after the 7th inning stretch. We'll see if they're able to do that. Lexington gets their first touchdown of the game. They go for 2, and they don't get it. Midland Valley leads 14-12 in the third quarter. Westside's up 28-7 in the third quarter.
Ooh, Westside was playing. What's on?
Hannah.
That's right. 28-7 on Hannah. Wow.
And it's still 10-0. Dorman over Greenwood. That one at the half. That one's I called something surprising earlier today, and I was chastised. So I don't know.
You were correct. You were chastised for being correct.
I don't know. I'm still going to say that Dorman 10-0 over Greenwood is still kind of surprising. Oh gosh. Halftime. Halftime over at Brooklyn Casey.
Oh, what's this one? I have not seen a reported score.
14 minutes ago. 14 minutes ago. So they're definitely at the start of the second half by now. It's 35-7, White Knoll.
Oh, man. I think White Knoll will bounce back. That would be a big boy response. We talked about some of the learning curve that this team might have at White Knoll after losing such an experienced defensive core from last year. And losing in that type of manner to Sumter the way they did, where a big lead kind of just got milked away late in the game, and that's a heartbreaking loss. That's a gut punch type loss. And Brooklyn Casey's a really good team, especially a team that will manhandle you in the trenches. So if you're not emotionally up to play Brooklyn Casey, they will run you over.
They will.
And for them to be able to go play that game, take care of business, be up 35-7 is a pretty significant deal. That is really, really impressive for Coach Pelham's group, and that's a sign. We talked about this last week. A sign that you're building a program.
Correct.
Not program.
Not a program.
Program.
Update from the Braves. Whit Merrifield has fouled a ball up his left foot, and he's exited the game. He got hit in the back of the head like 2 nights ago, guys. Can Whit not catch a break right now?
Not Whit Merrifield, not the Braves. His first day in a Braves practice uniform, he got hurt.
It was a gnarly finger injury.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, poor Whit Merrifield, man. No one has gotten bit worse with the Braves injury curse than Whit Merrifield, and this is a team that has some of their players out for the year with significant injuries. But this guy can't stop getting
you sure?
Yeah,
you sure about that?
Those were at least 1 injuries that got them out for the year. Whit has sustained 3 different injuries from the time that he has gotten to Atlanta, which was like a month ago.
I'll put it this way: I've really been able to lean into football. The last couple of years, I haven't been able to lean into football, right? Because if you're an avid Major League Baseball fan and your team's in playoff contention or in the playoffs, you are tracking, right?
I would not know.
And in
thank you for telling me.
Yeah, you would.
I would not know.
I mean, the Reds haven't been a threat since like the Big Red Machine. But anyway,
our season's over by July.
Exactly. You're already mathematically eliminated. You're like the Marlins. But for teams who are good, like 2021, I paid attention to college football, and of course I was doing this show. But I mean, during this show, we were watching the Braves. Like that's what Tommy and I were doing because the Braves were on a magical run. I can lean into football now.
Comfortable.
All that to say, I can lean comfortably into football. When I'm battling the Mets for the last playoff spot, I'm over it. I've checked out. Camden has come back. It's 14-14.
Ooh, they were down 2 scores to start. That's a big game we've had our eye on for a good chunk of the night.
Yes, it is. By the way, the Eagles were facing 3rd down and 2, and I believe they're going to convert that 3rd down.
The Airport Eagles.
Oh, nope, ineligible receiver downfield, so never mind.
Yeah, can't
leak out that far.
No.
Irmo has tied it with Butler. It's 28-28 with a minute and a half to go in that ball game.
Oh,
Get excited.
Look, last year, Irmo was I thought the best team in 4A for the entire season because of the way they just manhandled teams from beginning to end. This year, they've been tested a whole lot more. We'll see how this game ends, but they have been tested earlier on.
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time. They've had a pretty dominant stretch.
Right. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines. Kale checking in again from RNE and Westwood. What you got for us?
Hey, guys. Going into the 4th quarter here at Richland Northeast, and the Cavaliers did extend their lead. They now lead 18-0 going into this 4th quarter off of a Will Wilson 15-yard touchdown pass to junior wide receiver number 3, Blake Batet, who I honestly think is one of the most underrated receivers in the Midlands. He doesn't get enough attention, but he's had a great game tonight. And that touchdown may have just put it out of reach because Westwood was driving down the field, and they went for it on 4th down, but they weren't able to convert. And it's really unfortunate. They had a wide-open pass to one of their receivers, the number 13, Tyreek Jenkins, and he had the ball in his hand, and he dropped it. And because of that, the Red Hawks are still scoreless in the 4th quarter.
So Westwood appears to be out of this one. RNE putting it away. RNE moved to 3-0, by the way. Thank you, Kale. We appreciate it. We'll look forward to hearing from you once this game actually does go final.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much.
Got an update for you here before we hit a break. Lexington has blocked a punt, returned it for a touchdown. Beamer ball.
Aha! It spreads.
Does that count? Does that count in the Lawyer Lisa special teams?
As much as we want to experience the difference, we are going to have to say no.
All right. Well, thought we were making news here. Never mind.
Nope, not quite.
Point after fails, but the first lead of the night for Lexington. They lead Midland Valley 18-14. More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game.
Have you had a broken windshield compliments of those South Carolina roads? The insurance company might try to steer you one way to the big national guy, but remember, it's your choice. Go local. Call Absolute Glass.
We can repair your car back to factory specifications, including recalibrating all of your safety systems. We do great work and have been building long-lasting relationships for over 20 years.
That's why we've been voted Best Glass Company in Lexington for 15 straight years. Visit us online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com or call us at 951-7200. And remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
The Firehouse Captain's Club features their signature Captain Sorensen's hot sauce and their new Firehouse Hero Sauce, along with savory oven-roasted chicken, melted pepper jack cheese, crushed red pepper flakes, crispy smoky bacon, lettuce, tomato, and onions. Be sure to try the Captain's Club today at any one of the 14 Midlands Firehouse locations. Order ahead with the Rapid Rescue to go. But if a sampling platter is more your style, get all of your game day tailgate needs online at firehousesubs.com. Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
Don't let the season fool you. It's pool time in the Midlands. Hi, I'm Paul Rumenstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns. We have the experts in custom pool design and installation. The summer months might be flying away, but in the Midlands, the heat is here to stay. Dive into comfort and beat the heat all year round. Call Midlands Landscape today and make your dream pool a reality. MidlandsLandscape.com.
Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
We're back here in the studio. Oh, wow. Oh, man, he didn't. Welcome back. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird with you on the program.
That could have been disastrous.
Airport punting the ball on 4th and 7. It appeared on the bounce that the ball checked up and the Orangeburg-Wilkinson Bruin touched it. Which doesn't down the punt. It would be a live ball. Airport, picks it up and decides to at least carry it in the end zone. But on replay, it missed the Orangeburg-Wilkinson helmet by a half an inch, maybe. And now this is a situation. It's 14-9. OW's up. This game, of course, is on local TV here in the Midlands. If you're Airport here, you got to play field position. Hope to get your offense in an advantageous position, get some first downs, and get yourself back in here into this ball game. You're only down by 5. It's a one-score game. You're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination, and you're at home. You got to win on homecoming. That's just what you got to do.
That's right. That's usually the rare first home game, homecoming game combination.
I'm going to ask Coach Fiddler about that if he calls in.
Say, was that intentional, Coach?
Was that planned?
Is that the way we, quote, drew it up?
Is that how you want it to go? But it is 14-9, Orangeburg-Wilkinson over Airport with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, which, again, for a TV game is quite good.
We are humming along, you could say.
And you know what? Before you hit your rundown of the scoreboard, which you do an admirable job of, the Green Bay Packers just scored.
How?
It's 12-7.
I am very intrigued.
So I will find that out. I will effort that while you do your look at the scoreboard. So I guess let's hit the Tom Selleck and off we go.
That's right. Yes. You know what it means. Close to the top of the hour, we'll give you another scoreboard rundown. Everything we have is as of latest reporting, starting out with Irmo against Butler, North Carolina. They are tied at 28. Irmo had a pretty decent lead to start. Shout out to Butler, North Carolina for creeping back in and making that a game. Taking the lead before Irmo scored a touchdown to tie it. We're knotted up at 28 in that game. Swansea, 2-0 Swansea. They're up on Wagner Sally, 25-15, trying to hold on to get a 3-0 start after an 0-10 2023 season. Great story brewing over there in Lexington County. Speaking of Lexington, they're in Lexington County. They're also leading Midland Valley 18-14. They trailed most of the night, but have had a recent comeback, which includes a special teams touchdown. Shane and Frank Beamer are somewhere smiling. Chapin all up over Spring Valley 40-0. I think we have reached running clock territory in that one. One thing to keep an eye out for, Brady Albro did leave the game with an injury. Hopefully that one's not too bad, but I think the second unit can come back in and, take this one home. Batesburg-Leesville, surprisingly up on Abbeville, 30-21. Well, why, Elijah? Is that so surprising? Because, A, Abbeville is really, really good, and Batesburg-Leesville scored a touchdown right before the half at the gun. while also being fueled by a 4th and 12 conversion that they got via a fake punt. That would surprise me if I'm watching it. Brooklyn Casey on the wrong end of a 35-7 score against White Knoll. White Knoll bouncing back admirably after a tough, heartbreaking loss to Sumter last Friday. West Florence up on Marion 14-0. Hartsville and Camden knotted up at 14. Orangeburg-Wilkinson still leads Airport by a score of 14-9. We have 5:20 to go in the third quarter of that one. Dutch Fork and Ridgeview, a game we were really looking forward to at the beginning of the night, thinking this could be a neck-and-neck slugfest. Well, one team brought it, the other one not so much. Dutch Fork all over Ridgeview 31-0. Edisto and Calhoun, the runaway favorite for score of the night. Edisto leads Calhoun 8-4. Yes, you heard me correct. 8-4. We're talking about football, not baseball. Fairfield Central leads C.A. Johnson 28-0. Gaffney laying the lumber on Greenville 41-7. I guess Mazio Bennett ain't walking through that door. River Bluff was up on Nation Ford. That was 14-10 last I saw it. That one has definitely changed. That was the halftime score, I believe. I will get that one here in just a second while I'm running down the rest of these. R&E, as our friend Cale Wilson called in and confirmed, leading Westwood in the second half 18-0. Will Wilson finding his groove. I think he's got his swagger back. Riverside leads Christchurch by a score of 21-14. Keenan up on Battery Creek 14-0. Chesney up 19-13 on Walhalla. Hillcrest up on Greer 21-14. Sumter up on Myrtle Beach 28-14. Sumter keeps humming along, man. The high school Gamecocks having a really solid season. West Side up on TL Hanna 28-7, and as good as TL Hanna is, West Side is, I was not expecting them to be up 3 scores on TL Hanna. Dorman bouncing back from a 53-point loss last week pretty admirably with a 10-0 lead over Greenwood. North Augusta taking on South Aiken 27-14 North, 33-14 is refreshed. 33-14 North Augusta leads on South Aiken. That was a close game. It looks like Yellow Jackets are pulling away a little bit. Still no reported score between Branchville and American Leadership. Fourth quarter action, Wilson Hall and Ben Lippen, 2 teams that are in the undefeated club. And after tonight, one doesn't have to go home. They just can't stay here. That might be Ben Lippen. Wilson Hall, not only the first team to score on Ben Lippen this year, they got a lead on Ben Lippen. It's 15-7 in the fourth quarter. Palmetto up on Travelers Rest 31-0, looking to put a donut up on the scoreboard. AC Flora looking to bounce back after a loss last week to Chapin. They're up on Christ School from Arden, North Carolina by a score of 16-7. Jefferson Davis, a lot. Conway Christian, not a lot. And by that, I mean 66-0. The Raiders defeat the Eagles. That one has gone final. Florence Christian leads Heathwood Hall by a score of 7-0. Not a lot of scoring there. Not a lot of reporting on that one either. PD, the Golden Eagles, shutting out Christian Academy of Myrtle Beach 37-0. They look to stay in the prestigious undefeated club. John Paul Catholic up on Bethesda. That's a school in Savannah, Georgia. They're up 3-0. Pinewood Prep leads Trinity Collegiate by a score of 36-12. Porter Gowd, one of the teams in the undefeated club. Well, if I'm in the club and I have to be scheduled to take on Hammond, I'm not going to plan for a long stay in said club. Hammond up 20-0. That was the reporting at halftime. They lead. McBee still up on Latta, this time 28-0. 6-6 tie right now between Allendale, Fairfax, and Great Falls. Williston Elko leads Calhoun Falls Charter 32-0. Marlborough County, that's my grandmother's favorite school, they're leading Scotland 21-7. Loris all over South Columbus 28-0. That's from Tabor City, North Carolina. And if this score holds, that would be 3 straight games for Loris to start the season without surrendering a single point. Georgetown leads Johnsonville 14-6. That was the halftime score. Nothing since has been reported. East Clarendon leads Hardyville 8-0. Woodland blows out Bethune-Bowman by a score of 42-0. Andrews beats Carvers Bay. Not beats Carvers Bay. They're up on Carvers Bay 28-0, but they're cruising along. Hampton County up on Silver Bluff from Aiken by a score of 14-7. Barnwell, the War Horses. That's a great high school football team name. The War Horses lead lead the Red Raiders of Bamberg Earhart. That's 14-7. Chesterfield was trailing Lee Central in the first half of that game. We're in the third quarter, and we're all knotted up at 21 points apiece. Lamar, not Jackson, the Silver Foxes rather, lead Pageland Central 19-16. Oh, update. My Fairfield Central score against C.A. Johnson has gotten a lot worse. It's 52-0 Fairfield Central.
Oh.
Apologies.
Half 100.
Greenwood Christian all over Eau Claire, the Fighting Jermaine O'Neills. That's a 21-0 game right now. North Central is beating the Caps, the undefeated Caps of Columbia. That game is 26-8. It looks like they might have their escort, a pleasant escort rather, nothing violent here, from the undefeated club. Ed Bird might have to go find them here in a little bit to make sure they leave in timely manner. Blackville Hilda up on 96, 28-21. Update on Batesburg, Leesville, and Abbeville. It was 30-21 Panthers of Batesburg, Leesville, because they're both the Panthers. But Batesburg, Leesville's lead has been cut to 2. It is 30-28. That one, cannot wait to keep tabs on. It's getting juicy. Landrum up 14 on Ware Shoals. That's a score of 34-20. Clinton, if you will, up on undefeated Newberry, 20-14. A very old rivalry. Been playing each other every year since 1974, is it?
Who is that?
Clinton and Newberry.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Sounds right. They play each other a lot.
Yeah.
West Brunswick from not Charlotte. Is that Shallot? Shallottte. Yeah, Shallot, North Carolina. They lead North Myrtle Beach.
If you mispronounce it, it's not going to upset anybody because we're in South Carolina.
That's right. I can just let it fly. I probably could have just made up a town and no one would really correct me.
No one would have cared.
No one would care. May River beating the lights out of Lake City right now, 35-6. Philip Simmons over Beaufort, 31-12.
Yes,
Beaufort.
Get that one right.
Yeah, and make sure I mix them up every now and then. Dillon leading Wilson 22-0. Lower Richland not all up on Colleton County. They're up by 9, 21-12. Lugoff Elgin bouncing back from their loss rather well. They lead Darlington 28-12. York leads Union County 35-6. South Point up on Ballantine Ridge 63-0. By up, I mean they won that game 63-0.
There you go.
And
perpetually up.
Yeah, they'll be up forever in that one. And then Pickens up on Liberty 24-20. And Southside up on Dixie 24-14. That is your Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show Scoreboard Update.
Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Roger joins us. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, I got final score 5 minutes ago. Thomas Hayward, 39, Orangeburg Prep, nothing.
Thomas Hayward up 39-0 on Orangeburg Prep.
Come over with final score.
Final score. That's over. They're perpetually up in that one. Thank you, Roger. We appreciate it.
Permanent.
Is that my new line for wins? You're perpetually leading in the ball game.
Leading. Yeah.
3rd down and 13 for Airport, and your freshman quarterback takes a late hit. That's a flat. Come on, that's a late hit.
Oh, they're not going to call it either.
Lower the shoulder on the sideline. Come on.
Come on, Stripes.
That's bad. I can say that, right? That's bad.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think that's I got no
3rd down and 13. Let's see. Okay, on replay, you're already going in for the tackle. You're probably going to run stadium steps for that one in practice, but I don't think that's a flag. By the way, earlier in the program, before we hit a break, I asked you when the last time Georgia lost a game was in the regular season because their last 2 losses have been in the postseason in the conference championship game to Alabama. The last time the Bulldogs lost a game in the regular season was 2020. Then number 8 ranked Florida.
Wow.
Beat them 44-28. Dan Mullen was the head coach of the Florida Gators.
Oh, that is wild.
Anybody in Gainesville wanting Dan Mullen back?
They should all want Dan Mullen back. I think, everybody wants to fire the coach after a bad year or a bad recruiting cycle, and sometimes the grass ain't greener on the other side of the fence, brother. I think this is a really good example of that.
But the Bulldogs have not lost a home game since 2019 when a Ryan Helinski-led South Carolina Gamecock squad waltzed into Sanford, and 3 interceptions from Israel Mukwamu later walked out with a 20-17 double overtime win en route to a 4-8 record.
Is that will always be one of the more perplexing South Carolina wins?
No. I'll tell you what the most perplexing one is before we hit a break. 2015, South Carolina beat North Carolina in Charlotte. North Carolina didn't lose a game again until the ACC championship game to Clemson. And even then, onside kick made that one a little bit more difficult.
Wow. I don't know.
Carolina only won 2 more after that.
Even as someone, wasn't living here at the time, to see that South Carolina
one was
win over
shocking
Georgia
too.
Was one of the more perplexing things I have ever seen.
Also 2020 when they beat Auburn. Was that 2020 when they beat Auburn? Here in Columbia? That sounds right.
Well, in 2020, they only won 2 games.
That's right. So that wasn't 2020. It was 2019. I think they beat Auburn that year, too. We'll effort that industry term.
That's right.
Turnover on downs for the Eagles. It's still 14-9 Bruins. They're still in the third quarter. More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game.
Looking for the best authentic Mexican food in South Carolina? Head over to Morisco's Don Cameron at 2410 Augusta Road in West Columbia and indulge in mouth-watering dishes. Enjoy happy hour specials from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday and catch live music on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Bring 8 friends and receive a free appetizer daily, along with fantastic lunch and drink specials. Morisco's Don Cameron is known for its amazing aesthetics and ambiance. The customer service and staff are amazing, and they have 8 big screen TVs as well to watch your favorite games and events. Experience the vibrant flavors and festive atmosphere of Morisco's Don Cameron, your ultimate destination for great authentic Mexican food and good vibes. Morisco's Don Cameron is the sweet deal of the week. Get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. Visit 1075thegame.com beginning this Friday at 9 a.m. to get your $50 gift certificate to Morisco's Don Cameron for just $25.
Nothing slows down a job like not having the right equipment. Maybe your favorite zero-turn or push mower is getting repaired right now, or maybe you want to take advantage of some dry weather to finally aerate or dethatch your lawn, or maybe you just want a great excuse to mow with our super cool Gravely EV. Either way, come to Cato's, where we have a ton of new rental equipment available for daily, weekly, and monthly rentals. Cato's Power Equipment is here to bring you solutions to keep your yard or your customer's yard looking their best. Give us a call at 803-254-3711.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
We're back here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show, halfway through hour number 3. Plenty more action to go. We'll update you on scores as we get them. I said before the break we had the conversation about Georgia and South Carolina beating them. That was in 2019. I corrected myself during the break that they beat that Bo Nix-led Auburn team in 2020. A very forgettable year.
One of 2 wins.
Both in football and in other things. Just saying.
Life wasn't good for a lot of people.
Life was tough in 2020. I got married in 2020.
Wow, nice. Hey, so it wasn't terrible and all bad for you. I mean, there were some pluses.
There are things that worked out well.
Your lovely spouse is listening. It was a very good year for Justin Hall. Do not let him tell you any differently.
It was, and I will tell you that to the nth degree.
That's right. Did you hear that? That was my shovel. I'm helping get you out of there.
Overtime in Butler, North Carolina.
Ooh.
Final score: Butler 34. Irmo, 35.
Oh, the Yellow
Fumbled
Jackets
snap.
survived.
Irmo wins. 15th straight regular season win for the Irmo Yellow Jackets.
That's a gut check win, my friends.
Someone fire off a missive to Coach Brand and get him on the program and talk about that win. Good gracious. And Landon Sharp, a 26-yard touchdown run. White Knoll is clearing out Fort Knox, is what they call Brooklyn Casey's field.
I like that.
I don't know why. What's the significance? I wonder. I'll find out.
Knox Abbott. It's on Knox Abbott.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That is Knox Abbott Drive.
Yeah,
well done.
Knox Abbott
you know
Drive,
what?
yeah.
You know what?
I have lived here for a year and a half, and I am figuring out my geography. I'm figuring out road signs.
That's good. I'm not going to put you on the spot on the radio and ask you what that street is right down there.
Do not. Please do not. I do not
But
know.
it's 42-13. White Knoll leading with 2:31 left to go in the third quarter. At the end of 3 at Midland Valley, it is 18-14 Lexington. Dorman leads Greenwood 17-7. And Batesburg-Leesville leads 36-28 with 8:40 to go in the ballgame.
Ooh, see, 36-28. So, I mean, it's still a one-score game.
Yes.
That was getting juicy. What a win that would be for Batesburg-Leesville, man. I know that's a program that's been building up for something, had some struggles last year, but I mean, Amandre Wooden is planting himself as one of the best running backs in the entire state of South Carolina. That would be, after the game he had last week, it would be a phenomenal way to plant that flag. In terms of being one of the best at your position.
No question.
And beating a team like Abbeville, a traditional 1A powerhouse here in the state of South Carolina.
A quick NFL update for you. Saquon Barkley, 11-yard touchdown run. Makes it 14-12 Eagles, but not for long. Jaden Reed with his second touchdown of the game. This one from 70 yards out. It's 19-14 Green Bay.
Oof.
Yeah, the Eagles are the favorite in the NFC.
The way they ended last year, that's why, Wild Card Showdown today on the post-game show.
I missed it today, unfortunately.
I took the Packers and the points, even though I'm not that high on the Packers still.
A lot of people are.
And I like Jordan Love. I don't love Jordan Love.
Well done.
I don't think I've reached that plateau with him yet. I've fallen in like with him.
Well, I mean, commitment's a big deal.
That's a big deal, a big word, hard to spell. That's one of those things I don't think I'm ready to commit just yet. I am emotionally unavailable to the Green Bay Packers.
And don't commit unless you're sure. Bishop England leads Hanahan 21-14. That one's in the fourth quarter. Got a good ball game there. Chester trailing 21-14 right now in their ball game. It's 3rd down and 9 just down the road at Airport. 14-9. Orangeburg Wilkinson leads. They've got it 3rd down and 9 from their own 35. And again, you get a stop here and don't give up a lot of yards on the 3rd down. You got a shot at possibly getting some good field position on a punt because Orangeburg Wilkinson has struggled in the special teams department today. Left-handed quarterback takes a shot downfield and it's caught.
Oh, what a catch. And he breaks a tackle.
And it is a big gain down to the 5.
Big tackle by 7. I love the hustle.
Jump ball on 3rd and 9. Wow.
Oh, that was a prayer. He uncorked that pass.
He was going one way the whole way.
That was a prayer.
And good coverage. Great coverage.
He just lost the jump ball.
Great coverage by 20, and he's just not quite tall enough. 13's a pretty big guy. And just not tall enough there. So
I just watched a BYU tight end hurdle someone from SMU.
The glories of Friday night radio. You get a lot. Indiana leads Western Illinois 62-3. So if you're riding with the Hoosiers, congrats.
The Leathernecks.
Duke leads Northwestern in the Battle of the Nerds 7-3.
ACT Bowl, baby. Or they take the SAT in that part of the country.
They probably take a holistic view of all of them. Who is the
about
head
as
coach?
Good an answer as you can get.
Who is the head coach at Duke right now?
It is Manny Diaz.
Yes, it is.
Manny Diaz went to what school?
That I couldn't tell you.
Middle Tennessee State.
There you go. I should have known it would be a. Wait, there was a penalty.
Former Blue Raider.
I guess they said he stepped out of bounds at the 35 or the 31. So instead of being at the 5, Orangeburg Wilkinson has it 1st and 10 at the 35. So again, with 10.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, as we watch this game unfold on our television screen here in the studio, you hold them to a field goal here, and it's good. You're still down 1 score.
Yep, that's the goal. And really, how many kickers in the state of South Carolina have the leg from, they're at the 30 right now.
Yep.
So assuming they don't pick up another yard for these next couple plays, it's a 47-yard field goal.
But
that's not a gimme at the college game. That would be.
Tell me about it.
You really want to hold them here and make them try a field goal because that's when weird stuff happens in this wonderful sport. They're not out of it yet. Still have 10 minutes. This is a very big next couple of plays here defensively.
Because the clock is not on your side if you're Airport's offense because you've struggled to move the ball.
Yeah, it is not your friend.
You're now ticking under 10, and your defense is starting to get a little winded. You can see it.
Hands on the hips.
Orangeburg Wilkinson is more than willing to take their time. 49-14, West Side leading T.L. Hanna. Woof. Can I get numbers on that one?
41-14.
Can I get numbers on that one?
I want the Cutter Wood stats.
Oh, my gosh. This Orangeburg Wilkinson quarterback has an arm. Incomplete, but what a throw. Put it on him, and he just dropped it.
Lefty, too.
Lefty quarterback at that. That's always special to see. Looking for a few more scores here. Greenville's getting just clobbered. I'm not even going to give you the score. Greenville's getting absolutely clobbered.
Yeah, the unofficial score is Gaffney a lot, Greenville not a lot. Mazio Bennett, buddy, ain't walking through that door.
It's not a good situation. Dillon has defeated Wilson. Shutout, 22-0.
Woo. Dillon, pretty good.
Three words that have been said frequently. Dillon, pretty good. Spartanburg, 37. Broome, 6. That one's going to the fourth quarter.
Spartanburg, 27. Broome, 6. Wow. Yeah, Spartanburg bouncing back after that tough loss to Dutch Fork last week.
Right. Let's see here. Looking for a few more on the Twitters. But again, Twitter's inundated with NFL talk tonight. What's going on? This is weird.
Boo. It's Friday night. It's for the high schoolers.
This is weird.
The NFL is doing the really weird thing, like the 25 to 30-year-olds that show up to the high school party. Get out of here, old man. Get out of here. It should be illegal for you to be here. This is creepy.
Interception for Airport on a tip ball. The problem is you're going to have that ball inside your own 5, but the good news is you got a takeaway. Lights go out. Light show begins. Hillcrest is up 28-14 over Gurr.
Well, hey, that's some life for your Airport Eagles, Justin. I want to quote the great early 2000s philosopher, Chris Daughtry. It's not over. Got to do it right this time around.
Oh, that's your first 5. Chris Daughtry reference of the program, maybe ever. We'll have to check.
A couple weeks ago, yeah. If we check the tape, I definitely locked one in a couple weeks ago.
Okay, just making sure. And mea culpa, I came in last week to the program anticipating to honor Hootie and the Blowfish doing their show by giving Hootie references. I did not. Ooh. And so mea culpa. Mea culpa. That's my bad.
That's unfortunate.
I'll fall on my sword on that one. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines.
Cry.
Kale is on the line. Go ahead, Kale.
Hey, guys. This is Kale calling you guys from Richland Northeast High School. The Cavaliers pitched an impressive shutout victory over the Westwood Redhawks, 25-0.
25-0. Okay, that's a donut.
So Will Wilson leading the charge there. Defensive effort as well. Main takeaway from another win that gets Arnie to 3-0. What's the main takeaway tonight?
Defense had their most impressive showing of the season by far. As for Westwood, offensively they have a lot to work on. Defensively they looked really good. They were just on the field all night it seemed, and when you're on the field for 80% of the game, it's hard to just keep making consecutive stops. But Richland Northeast had a fantastic showing tonight, winning 25-0, 3-0. I don't know when the last time when the Cavs went 3-0, but I think it's been a while. If I am correct on that.
It had been a while since they went 2-0, and that happened last year. But that was a long time in between those. So I'm sure 3-0 is not far behind it.
You're probably right. You're probably right on that. But it was a fantastic showing by Richland Northeast, and they look a lot better, and they've looked better as the game has gone on and as the season's gone on. Honestly, I think they've got a very dangerous team, and Will Wilson, he had an amazing play it was a 2nd and goal from the 20-yard line after a holding penalty, and Wilson decided to take it with his legs. He ended up breaking 6 tackles. He didn't score, but he broke 6 tackles from Westwood defenders to get to the 5-yard line. And the very next play, they handed it off to running back Darren Brown, and he ran into a pile of Red Hawks. They grabbed him by his feet. 2 Red Hawks grabbed him by his feet. He shook out of that, stiff-armed another man, and then a Red Hawk got on top of him, and he dragged him in the end zone. So Brown broke 4 tackles in that process, too. So a lot of ground and pound on that final drive for RNE.
Ground and pound and broken tackles. My goodness. Could we find any of those on Angry Runs on Good Morning Football, which no longer exist?
Wait, Good Morning Football doesn't exist?
I don't think it does.
It does.
Good Morning Football?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Kale, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir. They're absolutely doing it. Peter Schrager just gave his Super Bowl picks like yesterday.
Did he? I thought they quit it.
No, there's no way. Unless they're doing something different and calling it different. It might not be Good Morning Football.
They might be calling it something different.
But they're doing something different.
A new moniker.
Because I feel like they're still doing it, but I could be wrong. We're efforting.
Maybe I dreamt that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Camden leads Hartsville 22-14.
once down 14-0, Camden. Interesting
and
stuff.
now an 8-point lead. So what they did, see what they did there, is they went for 2. So now Hartsville is going to have to go for 2 just to tie.
Yes.
Can't go for 2 in the win yet. Airport taking over after the interception from inside their own 5. They now have a second down play from their own 45 after a big run that had one of the assistant coaches, like Sean Elliott level, fired up. Did you see that on the screen when Kale was chatting with us? Like, he was like, I thought he was mad at a player. He's pushing him so hard. Like, he was fired up.
Oh, I
he was
missed
fired
that.
up. Yeah. I was a little concerned they were going to get a sideline warning, but it's 14-9, second down and 10, 7 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Airport trying to engineer a drive to take the lead here. You can't settle for 3 on this drive, not with the clock where it's at and not with your offense where it's at. Another jump ball situation that does not work out for Airport's offense. They want a flag. That ball was uncatchable. It's third down and 10 there.
Let it sail a little bit.
Yeah, we're efforting Coach Brand. Lexington still has the lead. As these games start to wrap up, understand that the efforting of the next hour and 15 minutes we have
Industry
left with
term.
you on this Friday night, industry term, is to get those coaches on this program. And that's our main goal and our main objective. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap up hour number 3 of the Left Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the game.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
We are so excited. Sound and Images has upgraded to a phenomenal facility at 807 Bluff Road, right there across the street from our friends at the State Fair. We have new upgraded facilities, video conferencing room experience that will seat up to 35 people depending on configuration. We also have meeting space and venue space on property to offer our partners at Sound and Images. Please contact Sound and Images at soundandimages.net, your commercial AV installation and live event production specialists.
You can count on hot summers in the Midlands.
You can count on those South Carolina roads biting.
And when you end up with a broken windshield, you can certainly count on Absolute Glass.
With one phone call, we can repair, replace, and recalibrate your car's windshield.
We'll handle the insurance calls, and for most folks, it won't cost you a dime to let us fix your windshield.
Absolute Glass has been voted Lexington's best for 15 years straight.
So call Absolute Glass at 951-7200.
Or find us online at absoluteglassinc.com.
And remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
This year, Roy and Dana Finley are shaking things up at AAA Heating and Air. For the next 12 months, they're telling their customers no. Get a new system purchase with no payments and no interest for a whole year. You heard that right. Purchase a brand new system in 2024 and get no payments and no interest until 2025. Do what I did. Call AAA Heating and Air today for your free estimate. 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Firehouse Subs, Hook and Ladder jingle, take 1.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast bread, mustard, mayo, purpose bread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird behind the glass.
Ed Bird.
Keeping us up on the air and on track and all the rest. And
keeping us out of trouble, most importantly.
Super. As they say in Boston, wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
And just killing it back there. There you go. So you got a Chris Daughtry reference and you got a Boston accent on the show today. Hope you're happy.
See, that's why you should listen to the Love Chevy High School Football Scoreboard Show every Friday night, is because you're not going to know what you're going to get on a nightly basis. Like Forrest Gump.
Like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, he would liken it to a box of chocolates. So add a Forrest Gump reference to the list.
Oh, wow.
See, the thing is, too, we get into like my 6th and 7th hour of live radio on the day. I start getting a little delirious. And this is when the fun starts happening.
You keep it bottled in when you're with Phillips. You keep it kind of contained, That's
right.
Let him have his fun.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing. Let him talk about the Broncos
I'll talk him into Bo Nix being really good.
Soccer or craft beer or fish.
Fish, yes, with a P.
And jam bands, the whole thing. Let him do his thing, but this is when you shine.
This is when we get to let loose and get a little weird. And
sure.
I'm all for it.
Appreciate Robbie chatting with me about Riverside here. 31-14, Riverside leads Christchurch. Start of the fourth quarter. And from what he's hearing, he's the AD there. From what he's hearing.
Yeah, I would say that's a source close to the program.
From what he's hearing, it's the first time in a long time that Riverside's off to a 3-0 start. And the game's not over yet, but they're well on their way to a 3-0 start. Unfortunately, the Eagles of Airport look to be on their way to an 0-2 start. These games ultimately don't matter.
No,
not going to affect you in the playoffs.
Region play is the most important, and we have a lot of fun with the non-region
stuff. To be fair, the region's very difficult.
Yes, and you do whatever you can to prepare yourself for said region.
Correct. OW's getting votes in 3A, and Airport's starting a freshman quarterback. Offense has been a little iffy tonight. No question about that. So we'll let it ride. We'll see what happens. Can't win them all.
A lot of football to be played.
Yeah, and a lot of football to be played tonight. Still 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Still got a shot.
And need I remind you the quote again? It's not over.
It's not over till it's over.
Yeah. And
when you get to a fork in the road, take it.
Yogi Berra.
Wilson Hall, thanks to Joe on Twitter, formerly Twitter, Joe Pollock.
Always Twitter.
Wilson Hall takes advantage of 1 fumble recovery and 2 INTs. Ben Lippen has been booted from the club.
Ed Bird's going to have to escort them out.
21-7, Wilson Hall gets the win over Ben Lippen thanks to 3 takeaways. When you're -3 in the turnover differential, it's hard to win a football game.
Don't love your chances.
Very difficult to win a football game. OW now leaning on Airport in this fourth quarter. They're trying to put this ball game away and put it away now. By the way, Francis Tiafoe is 1 set away from a Grand Slam final. U.S. Open.
Hey.
So look at that. Now you get your tennis there, too.
Look at that. Maybe we're the worldwide leader.
And
I don't want to get sued. Just kidding.
Things get worse.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
They don't consider themselves the worldwide leader anymore. They think it's never mind. They actually do think it's bad to be considered the worldwide leader.
Lame. Lame. That was the coolest nickname you had.
Dorman leads Greenwood 20-7 going to the fourth quarter. And how about some college volleyball news? Things just aren't going well for Gainesville people because the number 10 ranked Florida Gators got upset by South Florida.
That's me gator chomping if you're watching on the video stream.
3-2.
Gator chomping in jest.
Louisville is up 54-0 on
Louisville.
Atlantic Charter. Yeah, the Mets... I think the Mets won on a walk-off homer from Pete Alonso. No, it's not Pete Alonso.
Nope, it was not Pete Alonso. I have the
Mark Vientos.
Yeah, Mark.
Third baseman Mark Vientos. But the Braves look good tonight. Max Fried shoving on the mound. Another quality start.
They can pitch. That is certainly not the issue.
They can't score runs, but they can pitch.
That is certainly not the issue with the Atlanta Braves. They do be pitching well.
54-14, Gaffney leading Greenville. 54-14. Good gracious.
What a play by the BYU safety right there. They just picked off SMU in the red zone. They're at 15-12.
ACC not doing so hot in some things.
ACC Big 12 challenge is not going very well the way the Lord intended.
Oh, goodness. Heading toward the 10 o'clock hour, I will give you this. If you're looking for football tomorrow, you got plenty of it. In the SEC, Texas is at Michigan.
That's it.
Arkansas is at Oklahoma State.
A couple scores.
McNeese is at A&M. Tennessee Tech is at Georgia. California is at Auburn. South Carolina is at Kentucky. Middle Tennessee is at that's a big one. Middle Tennessee at Ole Miss. South Florida at Alabama. Buffalo goes to Missouri. Take that, Eli Drinkwitz. Samford is at Florida. Tennessee and NC State at a neutral field. Nichols takes on LSU. LSU looking for win number 1 before they come to Williams-Brice. Alcorn State at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt going 2-0.
Steve McNair ain't walking through that door.
Houston goes to Norman, Oklahoma, to take on Oklahoma on the SEC Network.
Yeah, the way God intended.
And Mississippi State goes to Arizona State for a 10:30 kick.
Interesting game, though. Two teams that were really bad last year, but I think in 2 or 3 years that their respective coaches will put them where they prefer to be, which is a little more competitive in their very massive leagues than they have been in the last 2 or 3 years.
In the ACC, Georgia Tech, number 23, Georgia Tech. By the way, we hammered
them. We did. Hammered them.
Georgia Tech is at Syracuse. Pittsburgh is at Cincinnati. Jacksonville State at Louisville. We mentioned Cal at Auburn. That's an ACC-SEC matchup. Wow, weird.
Yeah,
Duquesne is at Boston College. Charlotte is at North Carolina. Marshall is at Virginia Tech. Ooh. On the CW. Florida A&M is at Miami. Cal Poly is at Stanford. That's an ACC game. Virginia is at Wake Forest. We mentioned Tennessee and NC State. And then, of course, App State is at number 25, Clemson. Don't let the Mountaineers hang around.
Don't let them get hot.
Don't let them do it. If they do, things will go bad for you very, very quickly if you are at Memorial Stadium. Just don't let them hang around.
Shout out Langston Moore. There will be some lemon butt factor if this game is remotely close going into the second half.
Hour number 4 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up right here on The Game.
Hey, Mom and Dad, you know what back to school really means. It means rides. Rides to school, rides to practice, rides to meet other rides, rides to everywhere. This year, make all those rides comfortable, safe, and affordable with a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. School, soccer, football, dance, wherever you're headed. Ride in style and comfort with amazing technology, leading-edge safety, great gas mileage, and room for everything. Enjoy a no-hassle pricing and no-pressure buying experience at Honda of Columbia. Highway 378 at I-20.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad those arch supports are in my shoes.
The Good Feet Store. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams September holiday sale and get 30% off paints and stains from August 30th through September 9th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace! You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
Honey, look, the hookers. They've moved off the highway and now they're all over the parking lot.
What are all those Schroeder's towing trucks doing in that parking lot, though?
Must be towing all those unauthorized cars parked in the lot. Good thing the business owner called Schroeder's Towing to keep their parking lot clear for just their customers. Didn't those cars see the free signage that Schroeder's provides to business owners to deter unauthorized parking?
I guess not.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. That's why our Lowe's Red Vest associates can help with game time decisions. Plus, use in-store mode on the Lowe's app to find what you need. Under pressure at home and want it soon? Order online by 2 p.m. to get it same day. Same day valid on eligible in-stock items and select zip codes only, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. Exclusions and more terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
WNKT FM Eastover, Columbia, the home of the national champion Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all. A Cumulus media station. It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
And welcome back in. Hour number 4 of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on The Game. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird, Master Control, 107.5 The Game on your radio, 107.5 The Game app, or The Game TV on YouTube. It's where you can find us. Let's start the 10 o'clock hour and the hour number 4 and the final hour of the program on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Mark is on with us. Mark wants to talk about Chapin moving to 3-0 in dominating fashion over at Perrone Stadium. What's up, Mark? We're good. How are you?
Good. Last time I talked to you, I was driving 2.5 hours home from Stratford after Chapin lost one of the most unbelievable games I've ever seen in my life in 40 years watching high school football.
I remember that.
And I actually sent you the picture of how bad that reception was, but I got over it. Chapin 49, Spring Valley 14 here up at Perrone Stadium. A dominant win. They've been playing, I mean, their 3 games have been blowouts. And all ending after 11, so I haven't even been able to call in this year at all because the games are running forever.
Right.
Brady Albrow again, just smoking. I think he had 4 tonight. He did go down. I'm not going to talk about injury on the radio, but he was walking around. You know, it didn't seem like if they needed him, I think he would have went back in. But Brock Smith came in, who's another really talented kid, threw a 34-yard touchdown to Stone Furry, who's the son of Mike Furry there at USC, the wide receiver coach. And the defense is much better than years before, Justin. I mean, I would put their 2 linebackers. I guarantee you they're the best in the Midlands with Gavin Stam and Tanner Short. They're stout. They're fast. They look for contact. I mean, they are aggressive. And they can run really anybody down. So they're both seniors. They're both really experienced. They're running all over the field. I mean, Spring Valley couldn't get past their own 30-yard line for the first 3 quarters. So
going to win a lot of games that way.
Yeah, I think they'll be in some of the tougher games now. As usual, their schedule gets super tough after next week. Right. They travel to Somerville and then they play Dutch Fork after a break. So. But I like our chances, man. If Brady's healthy, the wide receivers are doing really well. The offensive line is really gelling. I think they got dissed in the preseason. Nobody was really picking them. They weren't ranked, even getting votes in the 5A. And then Lou, my buddy Lou, picked AC Florida to beat them at Chapin last week, and they only beat them 62-21.
Yeah.
So
where's your head at, Lou?
But I appreciate what you guys do. Miss Tommy, miss hearing his voice. Again, Chapin 49, Spring Valley 14. I'll talk to you guys next week if the game ends before 11.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it, man. Mark. That's a good report. That's a good report. Appreciate Mark not only calling in here, but also keeping me updated on the Twitters. That's important.
That's valuable. That helps us out a lot here in the studio.
Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Bulldog wants to talk to us. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Cameron defeated Hartsville in a hard-fought, knock-em-out game, 22-14.
Wow.
Hartsville dominated the first 2 quarters until a personal foul, a very unnecessary personal foul, woke Cameron up. The player was walking off the field with his helmet off, and Hartsfield player ran up to him wide open and hit him in the back. And that woke the whole team up. And that's from then on, Hartsfield didn't score again, and Camden scored 22 unanswered points.
Wow. Big win for Camden.
That is.
At home, they moved to 2-1. And so, Bulldog, we appreciate that. Those kind of moments in a game can sure turn it around. So that gives you the reasoning for Camden scoring 22 unanswered.
That was surprising. I mean, we remember, we were keeping up that game for most of the night. Hartsville had a pretty healthy 2-touchdown lead for, I would say, most of the entirety of the first half. It felt like, with the way we were getting scores in. But look, sometimes it is a moment like that in the game that has nothing to do with football that can drive a team to be able to kind of dig deep and be able to pull something out. I mean, that's totally in the realm of possibility. And, it's football can be, sometimes it can be a game of momentum. I grapple with the idea of momentum truly existing on a mathematical stage. But look, something like that can fire you up. And it sounds like that is exactly what happened with Camden. So we appreciate the call, Bulldog.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. I want to mention here on that Camden game, too. By the way, Hartsville won that one last year, 55-21. So probably some...
Both teams going in completely different directions after feelings.
That game, too. Yeah, no question. Hartsville, by the way, now 0-1-1. So you know what that means?
That means there is some exclusion from them in the undefeated club. Unfortunately for Hartsville, they were allowed in. Ed Bird had to look at the ID, wiggle it around a little bit, make sure, it passed the test. Saw that there wasn't a loss. There was a tie, not a win, but not a loss. So they were allowed limited capacity in this prestigious undefeated club. But I think Camden came in and put on a bouncer shirt and helped Ed Bird with his duties.
We were looking during the break. Bulldog, again, appreciate the phone call. We were looking at schedules for college football over the next couple weeks and just kind of starting to eyeball some games that we were intrigued by. This is just in the last couple phone calls. Chapin, thanks to Mark for his phone call. Chapin has Newberry next week. Then they go to Somerville. Then they kick off region play, as he mentioned, with home games against Dutch Fork and Lexington. That's after a bye week before the region play. Camden, after tonight's game against Hartsville, gets Ridgeview next week. Then they get R&E on the 20th. Now, by my estimations, I like the opportunity of a 3-1 Camden going into the R&E game. I really like the idea of a 4-0 R&E. They got Nation Ford on the road next week.
Ooh, tough road test.
Yeah.
Nation Ford was hanging around with River Bluff. I have not seen. I need to look up their Twitter account. They keep it very active.
River Bluff is up 35-24 at last check in the third quarter.
Okay.
Looking for an update there. That's according to the scoreboard on the state newspaper's website. We're looking.
Yeah, as of 15 minutes ago, it was 35-24 at the end of 3. And that was from River Bluff High School Gator Athletics. I would say that is a source close to the program.
I would agree. Let's see. 54-14 final. Gaffney defeats Greenville.
Oof, mercifully ends that one. But Gaffney, another statement win. That's look, Gaffney could be a 5A spoiler. I mean, it's Dutch Fork and everybody else. I don't know why Northwestern and Gaffney can't be that everybody else.
Right. That, you know what? I know we got somebody waiting on the phones. I've just got to mention this. Dorman leads 20-7 over Greenwood. Have we gotten an update from Abbeville, Batesburg-Leesville at all?
Let me check Uncle Lou's Twitter. That's where I've been keeping up with a lot of this. I keep a tab open, and it's just Lou Bajak's Twitter account.
That's smart, because people tweet at him and don't tweet at us. It's fine.
It's fine. I'm not mad. I'm just a little disappointed.
By the way, I mentioned before we get to Nathan Martin, we'll welcome Nathan in here in just a second. According to Sarah Langs, who is great on Twitter when it comes to baseball stuff, the Braves starting pitchers have now allowed three runs or fewer in 25 straight games. That extends their longest single-season streak since the mound was moved. That's the longest streak since the mound was moved in 1893.
Oh, my God.
And that's a stat. Ed Bird knows this. That's a stat that if I would have given that this time last year, Tommy would have gone, wow. And if you could get a wow out of our good friend Tommy Moody on a baseball record, that's one of them. That's a wow record right there. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Our buddy Nathan Martin is going to talk to us also about a game that happened up in Camden. I almost said up in Hartsville, but y'all weren't at Hartsville. Y'all were in Camden. Y'all were at Zemp Stadium, and you come down from 14-0 and get a win, a big win, to get you above 500 and 2-1.
95th meeting all time between these two schools, and it's just what you expect between two rivals. Hartsville, their first two drives hit pay dirt, go up 14-0, and then you're thinking, this could get out of hand pretty quick. But Beaver Ball showed up tonight, if you will, as Camden blocked the punt, scooped it up, and scored to get on the board 14-7. And that's where we looked like we were heading to half at 14-7, but Camden wasn't done. They use a wide receiver screen. Tylen Draper hits JoJo Krim streaking down the sideline to tie the game at 14. Got a little skirmish there before halftime. I think that kind of didn't suit too well for the Bulldogs because in the second half, they really shut Hartsville down and offense went to work. Wyatt Thompson was able to hit Tylen Draper for a touchdown. The extra point snap was a bad one, and Wyatt scooped it up and hit the corner, hit the pylon for the 2-point conversion. And Tylen Draper gets the pick at the end to seal the deal for a 22-14 win for Kansas. So it didn't start off well, but the Dogs made some really good adjustments. Hartsville's a good football team, and they hit you that 3 yards in a cloud of dust coming at you all game long. And I really felt like that Camden started out in a 4-down lineman on the defensive line, and they switched to a three-man front, and that gave Hartsville some problems. Dontrell Wilson, who is our big nose guard, he's a junior at 6'2", 319, but he can move. And that center is going to be seeing 50 in his sleep tonight, I'm pretty sure, because he really blew up a good many plays during the second half and allowed Camden to rally for a big win. So 2 big rival games back-to-back for Camden. We got Ridgeview coming into historic Zemp Stadium next Friday night.
It would help if I turn my mic on. Nathan,
yeah, it works better that way.
It works better that way. You mentioned that those rivalry games that are coming up, and we just looked at the schedule, and I know teams don't like to look ahead, but we do. That R&E game shaping up to be a good one in a couple of weeks. Before getting into actually that might be a region game now that I think about it because of the whole restructuring.
A lot of the
that is a region game. So you're talking about a region game with R&E and a very good quarterback coming up. So. When you look at Camden, I know you guys got off to kind of a slow start last year, but this year you're playing your brand of football, and obviously when it comes to a team that's historically as good as Camden is and has been under this coaching staff, sky really appears to be the limit if you're playing this hard. We're 1 week into September.
For sure, and we've always kind of played up in classification, especially in the non-conference, with Lugoff being now back in 5A school. Hartsville's on the schedule every year. We added White Knoll this year and Ridgeview. And Coach Trimp likes to challenge these guys in the non-conference because especially in the region we're in now with South Point and Lancaster and R&E, who we saw a couple of years ago in the playoffs, it's a tough region. And I think I want to challenge these guys. I think White Knoll kind of wore us down there in that first game in the second half and was able to get the win, and we bounced back against Lugoff. And tonight, we faced adversity earlier, and the Bulldogs responded. And I think we carried that momentum into another tough game against Ridgeview. But that R&E to start the region slate is going to be a big-time showdown between Will Wilson and Wyatt Thompson, who's played lights out tonight. He made every read correctly tonight, and he had some tough yards rushing and hit the receivers on a few passes downfield and kind of kept the Hartsville defense honest. But he struggled last week. We had 7 turnovers a week ago. I think we had 1 tonight. So we definitely cleaned some things up, and looking forward to Ridgeview coming in next week. It's been a while since we've played the Blazers, so it should be another good Friday night under the lights at historic Zemp Stadium.
Nathan, we appreciate it as always, bud. Always great to talk with you about Chapin football, and we'll chat with you in the weeks ahead.
Sounds good, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan. You too. Nathan Martin talking about Camden football. let's go to break, and then we'll come back. I see you on the Love Chevy phone lines. We'll get to you when we come back right here on the game.
You know what back to school really means? It means rides. Rides to school, rides to practice, rides to meet other rides, rides to everywhere. This year, make all those rides comfortable, safe, and affordable with a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. School, soccer, football, dance, wherever you're headed. Ride in style and comfort with amazing technology, leading-edge safety, great gas mileage, and room for everything. Enjoy a no-hassle pricing and no-pressure buying experience at Honda of Columbia. Highway 378 at I-20.
The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch.
And my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
The Good Feet store. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
What's up, Gamecocks? Summer is officially here, and those famously hot temps, they aren't going anywhere soon. Super hot days can be incredibly stressful on your lawn, and even more stressful on the person maintaining it. So don't spend hours pushing around an old lawnmower or going 2 miles an hour on a bumpy old rider. Come to Cato's Power Equipment. Whether you have just a few weeds or tons of acres of grass to keep cut, our huge selection of Toro, Gravely, and Aaron zero turns will make short work of your yard. Guaranteed. Spend more time where it matters this summer. And like Cato's Power Equipment, help make your yard an oasis, not a chore.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show right here on the game. Justin Hall, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird at Master Control, and his job's about to get a lot busier. We're in the witching hour. Well, we're not in the witching hour anymore. We're in the witching hour for us.
Post-witching hour.
Most games are over. They have wrapped. And so we're hearing from you on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. We go to those phone lines where our buddy Uncle Lou Bezak is waiting on the horn. Lou, you got called out by Mark, first of all, from Chapin, saying that you picked AC Florida to beat Chapin a couple weeks ago, and in your face. He didn't say that. I'm filling it in. But Chapin's been on a roll. You were at what game were you at tonight?
Dutch Fork in Ridgeview.
That's right. I didn't text. My normal text around 2 o'clock every Friday is, hey, where are you tonight? Not to hang out, but just to find out where you're working at. So Dutch Fork and Ridgeview, that's correct. I knew you were tweeting from one of those games. Dutch Fork's really good, Lou. What do you think?
Yeah, there's not going to be a bad start this year. That 2-5 start, definitely not the case this year. I mean, they were really good, especially in that second quarter where they scored 28 points and up 31-0 at half. Added another touchdown. I think Ethan Offing, quarterbacks, growing up. I think each game and. More confident. He ran the ball a little bit more tonight. He throws a nice deep ball. Had a couple nice fade passes for touchdowns in the end zone tonight. And defense was lights out, man. Elgin Sessions, the West Virginia commit, was locked up on Jordan Gindron most of the night, the big prospect for class of 2026, and he shut him down for the most part. I think Gidron finished with 3 catches and only one had any significance. Yeah, two catches for 34 yards. He finished with Gidron. So just a good matchup, a good matchup by Sessions. He said he definitely been looking forward to this one. And Dutch Fork 2-0, and definitely no doubt the number one team in 5A, upper or low, whatever. They're in the big 5A, and they're definitely going to be tougher to beat, and especially because they're going to continue to get better. They don't peak now, but they look good early too. A good win at Spartanburg, and then here going on the road beat Ridgeview. Now you got back-to-back games against Gray and Oceanside before region play begins. The region should be awesome between them, White Knoll, and Irmo, and then you throw in Chapin's playing well, River Bluff's playing well early, and Lexington. I mean, that region I think is top to bottom could be one of the best in the state in 5A.
No doubt about that. You were at Dutch Fork and Ridgeview. Camden came back, scored 22 unanswered to beat Hartsville. Irmo won in overtime at Butler. White Knoll shellacked BC. But a game that I'm sorry, contrary to belief on Twitter, Batesburg-Leesville going over to Abbeville and beating Abbeville is a pretty big deal, in my opinion.
Huge. I mean, especially Batesburg-Leesville has struggled the last few years. Coaching changes, in and out, had players transfer, and then coming to go on the road. I mean, I know they got the guy. I think we're going to say Madre Wooden. He had a big game last week, and I believe he had a big game tonight. That's just a huge win against Abbeville. I mean, powerhouse who probably will go on to win Class A, but I mean they hadn't beat Abbeville since 2014. Losing that breaks the 7-game losing streak against Abbeville. I mean, just a huge win in the shot. I mean, for a tradition, Batesburg-Leesville has a great tradition and everything, and it's struggled the last few years, but just a huge win for Coach Lawson and the program to go and beat Abbeville like they did.
And then you mentioned the region that Dutch Fork is in. Chapin wins tonight. White Knoll wins tonight. At last check, River Bluff was up tonight. I'm not sure if they ended up winning over Nation Ford. I think that entire region won tonight. So
and I think Lexington was winning last I saw too.
And I think they won. They won outright. Yeah, literally. They are perpetually winning that ball game now, as I like to say.
Perpetually. That's a new term coined tonight.
It's a new term. They're perpetually winning that game. They'll never lose that game because it's happened. That region is there another region in this state, or at least in the Midlands, that you can look at and go, yeah, maybe a different classification, but pound for pound, it's probably just as tough as that one.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm trying to think of one. I mean, definitely not. I think the region with Camden in that, and now with Northeast playing well, you got Dreer, South Point, Lancaster. I mean, AC Flora, I think has a chance to be really good right now.
Yep.
And but right now, it's looking good. I know they're winning their non-region. They'll beat each other up in region play and see who separates. I mean, see if anyone can knock off Dutch Fork like White Knoll was able to do last year in the regular season. But I think those games with the Dutch Fork, Irmo, Dutch Fork, White Knoll games are going to be fantastic. And the other ones. I mean, I think Chapin has a really explosive offense. Their defense is playing better over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun region to watch, and going to see how things play out there.
And then we're 3 weeks in now after tonight wraps up. There have been a lot of surprises so far in these first 3 weeks. A lot of really cool storylines kind of popping up all across the state. But what's one that's kind of captivated you just by seeing some of the scores tonight and seeing how this season has unfolded for 3 weeks? Something that you probably haven't expected whenever you're filling out, your preseason top 10 ballot beginning of the year.
Well, I think the way Batesburg, winning, going in those 2 wins, the way Irmo, the tough start, they've played some tough teams in the non-region, and the way they're playing. Columbia, until tonight, I think Columbia was kind of a surprise in Eau Claire, but then they both lost tonight. Yeah. So, but I think I like the way Keenan's responded and winning. They almost beat Pendleton last week, which was a top 10 team. They're 2-1, having coaching change before this in the off season. I think that's been a surprise, and I think Chapin too. I didn't know what to expect with Coach Cole first year, but they 3-0 and it looked impressive in doing it. They 3 blowouts. So they definitely some of the surprises for sure.
Well, Lou, we appreciate it as always. Thank you for giving us a shout as you always do. Best of luck this weekend in your fantasy football teams and such. I know you probably have 1 or 2.
And your Steelers.
5, yes.
Interesting QB situation
I don't care
brewing
about your Steelers
there.
this week, Lou. I don't
Justin Fields. We're going to see the Justin Fields experiment, see how that goes on Sunday.
Good luck. Good luck with that against that stout Falcons defense. Lou Bezak. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
That's Lou Bezak. Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines because they are busy. Let's go to Thomas next. Thomas, what you got?
Hey, guys. It was sloppy and not very pretty. Swansea moved to 3-0 tonight. It was a game of big plays. Swansea scored first, 7-0, and then Wagner scored and got the 2-point conversion to go up 8-7. And then Swansea would score again and get the 2 points, and it was 15-8. We kicked a field goal to go up 18-8, but they scored right before the end of the half. They actually picked up a fumble from Swansea and ran it back. I believe it was about 75 yards for that touchdown to make it 18-15 at the half. In the second half, the sloppy play, due to the weather conditions mostly, continued. Swansea would pick up a fumble. I wish I knew the young man's name, but when I say he rumbled 75 yards for a touchdown.
We call that a thick six.
Yes, no, it was a fumble recovery.
Thick six, yeah, for the big fellas.
Yes, sir, one of the big guys.
Yeah.
The final score would end up being 39-15. This team, Wagner, last year beat us 77-0. That was, I think that kind of stuck in the craw of not only the fans, but the football players as well, which you can certainly understand.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we go to Pillion. That's a rival game for Swansea. I've already talked to a lot of people who are planning to go. And, fellas, I wish I could tell you, but it's been a long time since the Swansea faithful can claim a 3-0 start and look to go to 4-0 on the season. I just wanted to throw this out there as well. Our legendary coach, Doug Bennett, turned 98 last week, and he's still going. And to my knowledge, our high school is the only high school in the Midlands that has two coaches in the top 10, Robert Maddox and Doug Bennett.
That's a good stat.
Go Swansea Tigers, and let's go Gamecocks tomorrow.
Thank you, Thomas.
Guys.
We appreciate
Great
it.
stat, Thomas. That's good.
That's a stat. That's a shout-out to a coach.
Yes.
And that's a good report. That's a highlight call from Thomas right there. Good job,
triple
sir.
crown of calls.
Do we have to go here? I guess we do, Ed. Let's go to Willie. Willie is on the Love Chevy phone lines. Go ahead, Willie.
Well, I love to say this whenever OW wins a football game. And that's the end of the ball game. The Bruins win. Your final score in a smash-mouth old-school football game, the Orangebrook Wilkinson High School Bruins 14, those Airport Dirty Birds 9. With that win, the Bruins are 3-0 on the season, and we're going down to a town that's about as close to Sparta, Mississippi as you can get it. We're going to get those Edisto Cougars on next Saturday night.
Thank you, Willie. We appreciate it.
That was a good victory lap. Good victory lap, Willie. That's how you do it. That's how you make it personal. I like it.
That's
the juice we want to bring on the show.
Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines. Now we can get away from the personal stuff because we've handled the whole airport loss. We got it. We're good. Let's go up and talk about some Northwestern Trojan football. Chris Miller joins us on the Love Chevy phone lines again. Chris, another night, another big performance offensively. Ho-hum, the Northwestern Trojans keep rolling here in 2024.
Yeah, guys, hey, it was a great game for the Trojans. I mean, facing South Florence is a team that, remember, just a couple of years ago beat them 57-30 in the 2022 4A state championship game. And Northwestern remembered that. That was one that kind of stuck in their craw. That was a close game. And South Florence tacked on a couple late touchdowns against some reserves, and that was something that stuck with a lot of these guys. Finley Polk, a senior on this Northwestern team, he was a sophomore, a starter. 6 starters on defense for Northwestern started in that state championship, so they took it personal. Again, this was not the same South Florence team they played in 2022. You know, remember Lenore Steller's obviously quarterbacking the Gamecocks now, right. But the Trojans dominated this thing from Jump Street. They scored on the first possession of the game. It was a 70-yard touchdown pass. Their defense forced a 3-and-out. The first play of the next possession, they scored on a long touchdown, and the route was on at that point. I mean, it got to be 41-0 at one point before South Florence finally salvaged a touchdown with about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. I mean, it was really just the Trojan show. Defensively, they just shut down anything that South Florence tried to do, and it was somewhat surprising, especially the way the defense for Northwestern had struggled the last couple weeks against Huff and Ridgeview. They just were a machine tonight.
They certainly were, and they've been a machine all season. And now you go in. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. You got a stretch of ball games coming up here that are vital to Northwestern. Again, some of them are non-region. Most of them are. This is a team that's continuing to flex its muscle, coming into tonight number 3 in the media poll. With 2 first-place votes. I imagine they're getting a few more, and if not for that pesky team in Dutch Fork, they'd probably have a lot more than that. This is a team that week in and week out, I mean, Gaffney is what Gaffney is, but Northwestern's probably a good bet at making a state championship run that's pretty deep and could end with a trophy. I mean, I'm not putting that on them, but...
Yeah, I mean, their offense is so difficult to defend. I mean, they have Cameron Vance is one of the most electric receivers in the state nobody's talking about. I mean, all the guy does is catch touchdowns. He caught 2 against Huff in the opener, caught 3 last week, caught 3 more. He's got 8 touchdown catches in 3 games.
That's insane.
Finley Polk's got 15 touchdown passes in 3 games and no picks. He hasn't turned the ball over yet. He threw 4 in the season opener against Huff, 6 last week against Ridgeview, just 5 more tonight, and that was in the first half. So he's playing statistically as good as any quarterback in the state. I mean, you can put Brand, you can put Cutter Woods in that conversation. Statistically, Finley's matching right up there with them. So, I mean, and they're scoring points in bunches. Again, you put 48 on the board tonight. You put 45 against Huff and 45 against Ridgeview. When you score 45 points a game, you're not going to lose any football games. I mean, that's just not going to happen. The defense, all you got to do is hold the opposing team to 30 points. You're going to win the game.
That's true. That's true. Chris Miller joining us talking about Northwestern Trojans winning their game tonight. And you can hear him tomorrow. Our local coverage. Our local coverage starts at 10:30, which is in 12 hours from this very moment. And then at 12:30, they'll take over with the network coverage. And Chris will take good care of you and get you fired up and ready for a matchup tomorrow, Chris, that will determine who leads the SEC into Week 3. So it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it does. It does, and it's interesting because Kentucky and South Carolina, really the one has to beat the other to have a good season. Statistically, you go back and look. When Kentucky beats South Carolina, they typically have a really good season. When South Carolina beats Kentucky, most seasons they have a really good season. So it's sad to say that Week 2 is a barometer for where you're going to end the year, but this matchup, typically the winner has a good season, the loser does not. So a lot of pressure going into this game for both squads.
No pressure. No pressure on either side of the ball.
None.
Go have fun. Just roll the ball out there and see what happens. Chris, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Let's go to Alex really quick. Alex, what you got for us on the Love Chevy phone lines?
Oh, yeah. That's my Macho Man.
Decent.
Okay.
Decent.
Now that you clarified it, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Just coming out raw with that was. It did take me a second to pick it up, but yeah. Now that I have the context, we're good. I understand it. Okay, that's good.
I mean, we can go with the high quality H2O. Bobby Boucher says, "Hey, you gotta hydrate." We can do that too.
Always.
What we're gonna do is Lexington football.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
They won 25. They did 25-14. They won. They looked sloppy, just like they did last week, but they won.
Ugly wins of count.
Throwing that out there. They lost a defensive back to an ankle injury. Matthew McCauley is kicking butt and taking names. We'll move on to next week and hydrate and press on. But I love y'all's show, man. This kind of keeps me going. It reminds me of my high school days. So y'all keep doing you, man. I like it.
That's
appreciate
right.
it.
Captain Insano approves.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Alex. Always appreciate it. Let's hit a break. We got 30 minutes left of this shindig. Let's see what happens. More of the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show coming up on the game.
Craving something truly authentic? Look no further than Falafel King, your go-to spot for the best Mediterranean and Indian cuisine in South Carolina. Located at 2020 A. Gervais Street in Columbia. Whether you're in the mood for savory lamb, mouth-watering chicken, fresh salmon, or flavorful shrimp, they've got it all. Enjoy it over rice, wrapped in crisp lettuce, or on a warm pita, paired with your choice of 2 delicious sides. And the best part? You can dine in, take out, or have it delivered straight to your door, all at an unbeatable price. Don't wait. Call 803-888-7844 to place your order now. Falafel King is the sweet deal of the week. Get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. Visit 1075thegame.com beginning this Friday at 9 a.m. to get your $50 gift certificate to Falafel King for just $25. Falafel King, 2020 A. Gervais Street in Columbia, 803-888-7844.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
We've been blessed to serve the Midlands glass needs for 20 years.
We have been fortunate enough to help thousands of customers with the best glass service in town, in our store, and all over the Midlands.
Sure, we can fix your windshield, usually at no cost to you.
But at Absolute Glass, we can also care for all your other glass needs, too.
Home windows, shower doors, tabletops, shelving, storefronts, and all your commercial needs.
Contact us at 803-951-7200 or at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Final 30 minutes of the program, a little less. Final handful of minutes in the program. SMU, ACC juggernaut that they are, trailing BYU, Big 12 juggernaut, 18-15. Fourth down pass falls incomplete. And so BYU is going to go on the road and pick up a win out of conference in the ACC, and the ACC suffers yet another disappointing defeat. BYU fired up.
They are. That's a big win. Big win on the road against an ACC power is like SMU.
Well, I mean, when I think ACC, I think Dallas.
I think Dallas. I think Eric Dickerson. I think the Pony Express. I think Larry
the greatest,
Brown coaching the basketball team.
I think the greatest 30 for 30 in the history of 30 for 30s.
It is a really good one, man. Oh, that was such. If you're a sports doc enthusiast,
that's one.
That's as good as it gets.
There's no doubt about that. Here's a note from our buddy Thomas Grant. Dutch Fork avenges one of its just 3 road losses since 2015. It's 2024. They have 3 road losses.
3 road losses, Justin, since we graduated high school.
Yeah. Since after that.
We've been out well over a decade.
And since 2016, this is the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes' 20th shutout win.
Good night.
Final from Greenwood. Dorman wins 20-14. Greenwood goes to Lexington next week to take on the Wildcats. Should be a good one. All 6 Region 4 5A teams, Dutch Fork, Chapin, Irmo, River Bluff, Lexington, and White Knoll, all won tonight. That region is a combined 16-1. And that loss,
we call that a wagon.
And that loss was in double overtime after having a 20-point lead
against
Sumter.
A really, really good Sumter team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then White Knoll responds by coming back tonight and just laying it on poor Brooklyn Casey.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is wild to think about how good this region is. That they're pulling off what they're pulling off. It's impressive. It really is impressive that they are able to do this week in and week out in that region. And, it's just a really good region. I don't know. What else can I say about it? It's just a really good region.
Once we get into region play, there's going to be a little bit of cannibalism in the middle class of that. I mean,
yeah, no question.
You have Dutch Fork, you have Irmo. We'll see what White Knoll is able to bring back to the table with all the losses that they had. It's not going to be the same White Knoll team as last year, but it's still going to be pretty darn good. I think there's going to be a little bit of cannibalism between your Lexingtons, your River Bluffs, your Chapins.
Eventually, they have to lose.
They'll eventually have to lose, but you're going to have a team that might go into the playoffs out of that region at 5-5 or 6-4, who, if I'm playing them in the first round, I'm not going to want to see, even if I am at home. That would be a dangerous road team to have to play, just because they prepare themselves so well to that total wagon of a region.
Looking for other scores here that we can hit on. NFL, Green Bay up 26-24 on Philadelphia. Pretty solid showing in Brazil for both of those offenses. Defenses, not so much. Hope you're not starting either of those defenses on your fantasy team this week.
Yeah, this would not be a great week for that.
No, it would not be. But if you've got any of their offensive players,
especially Saquon Barkley. I wonder who in this room does have Saquon Barkley.
That would be the man to my left.
That's right.
No question about that. We got a couple of folks I'm already seeing. I think Elijah, I know whose names are popping up on our screen right now. Let's go to the Love Chevy phone lines now, 803-404-6100. Coach Nick Pelham from the White Knoll Timberwolves joins us on the program tonight. Coach, you were right down the road from the studio over at Brooklyn Casey. And, you know, the junior in high school in me would have been fine with my team losing if my rival team lost as well, but I'm a professional now. So all I'm going to say is congratulations on the win. Good bounce back for your guys. Was that a message throughout the week after a difficult loss last week to kind of get right mentally heading into this week?
Yeah, yes. We wanted to right the wrongs from last week. You know, we were up 33-7 against Sumter, and I did a poor job finishing the game, and couldn't get any stops or couldn't stay on the field last week. And so, yeah, it was a big time to, you know, prove who we were, prove that we're about toughness, and prove that we're about the details. And I don't know if we passed all of our tests with all that, but at least we got a little better in that department.
Coach Nicholas Pelham's on the line with us right now from White Knoll High School. They got a big win over Brooklyn Casey tonight. And Coach, you know, a lot of teams that lose in the Super Bowl experience something that your team experienced from last year this year with like a hangover effect. That affects a lot of teams because that's human nature. You get so close to achieving the ultimate goal, and then you kind of have to start back at level zero. And I know I saw a TV interview that you did where you talked about kind of the difficulty of that, but you're 3 games in now. What's kind of the mood of your team now that you've kind of gotten into the swing of the season? You experienced a tough loss and you bounce back with an even bigger win. What's that kind of like in the locker room right now with your guys, and considering you're having to replace a lot of key players at key positions?
You know, that's an awesome question, actually. That's the best question I've been asked in my 4 years as a head coach. So good job for the question.
Thank you, sir.
How much did he pay you to say that?
Your check will arrive in 3 to 5 business days.
Just a Diet Coke. That's all I needed. But no, it's a great question because, you know, I was expecting, being so close to the state championship last year, I was expecting a hungry group of men, and a group of men that were just going to do whatever they could to get back to that game and win it this year. And it just hasn't been that way. We've got some great effort. We've got some great days, but we also have some poor days. And we have some days where kids don't want to practice and they don't really want to put in the effort. It's not every day, but it's been enough. It's been some inconsistency. And so maybe it is attributed to that, you know, Super Bowl hangover you mentioned. But as far as the mood of our team now, I don't think we're satisfied. And I know we as coaches aren't. I know I'm disappointed. You know, we're coaching really well on offense. We're playing really well on offense. We're blocking well. We're running the ball well. We're catching the ball well on the perimeter. We just don't have a defense that's matching their output. And I'm a little disappointed because that's the unit I coach. And I put my name on our defense, and it's just not there yet. I don't know what our major issue is. I don't understand our tackling issues. I don't understand our spacing issues. But the mood is we're still hungry to make sure we get better, if that answers your great question.
It does.
That was a great answer. That was a great answer to a great question. Coach Nick Pelham, after a win over Brooklyn Casey tonight, 49-19 final score. Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too. Let's stay on the Love Chevy phone lines. We go from one Region 4 5A coach to another. Let's talk to Coach Curtis on the line here. Lexington High School gets a win tonight on the road at Midland Valley. Scrappy. They were up early. 25-14, workmanlike performance, Coach, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, you can describe it like that, I guess. I don't know that any coach wants to go through these kind of second-half games, back-to-back weeks. But we did, and we're happy with the win. And, you know, anytime you get a win, you need to celebrate that. And you know, we are happy to be 3-0, but we certainly got a lot of things that we can still get better at, especially before we play teams like Nick Pelham and White Knoll.
Certainly. And I mean, hey, if the college team down the road here taught you anything, a sloppy win is better than a sexy loss. And bottom line, you guys got the job done tonight. But you mentioned Coach Pelham and his White Knoll team. The Dutch Fork team, they're kind of good. Irmo, the new kids on the block, they're kind of good. You're doing a lot in region play to prepare yourself to be able to handle this gauntlet of a region that you play in. What's kind of the process like of keeping a group of, 14 to 18-year-olds with their head focused on the big picture of the season and knowing that you're not in region play yet, but a lot of these games are really building up to that key stretch of the season?
Oh, for sure. And I hadn't seen all the scores tonight, but Chapin and River Bluff are off to a heck of a start too. So you don't need to stop at Irmo. There's a whole bunch of teams that are really good in our region. I think we're really deep, maybe as deep as it's ever been. And we are, all of us as coaches, I tell my kids this all the time as we try to get them to just make good decisions and be consistent. They're the most unreliable demographic on the planet. Just ask the insurance company. And,
good point. That's a great point.
You know, it is kind of hard, and this is kind of back-to-back weeks. We came to a place that, neither North Augusta nor Midland Valley, it's just weird. It's weird stuff. Like, they don't have locker rooms. So you get dressed on the field, or you park 2 buses angled by a fence, and that's your locker room. And it's like they have to stop letting little things get them out of their mojo or swag, whatever they want to call it. But I'm gonna tell you something. The Midland Valley, I thought it was weird on film. Their first 2 weeks of scores, to be honest with you, because they got good players, and you could tell their plan, and you could tell what the coaches are trying to do. Like, they don't look not well coached, and man, they got some athletes. They really do, and they got some big dudes in the box on defense, and they started a sophomore quarterback tonight who can go. So Aiken County can watch out for that cat, because he's pretty dang good, and he extended a lot of plays for them tonight.
Midland Valley went undefeated last year, and they're off to a little bit of a difficult start this year record-wise, but certainly they're still talented. Coach Curtis from Lexington on the drive back. He resides in a region that has Chapin, Irmo, River Bluff, Dutch Fork, and White Knoll as well. Region play is going to be a heck of a fun time, Coach. We're looking forward to watching those games each week.
Oh, it's going to be battles, guys. We look forward to it. That's why you catch the game, for sure.
That's right. That's right. Coach Curtis, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Always good to chat with you.
Thank y'all. You got it.
Let's hit a break. We'll come back. Final segment of week number 3 of our program coming up here on the Love Chevy High School
haven't tasted
Show.
real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full service dine-in buffet with barbecue, ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road has new hours. Now open from 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Integrated Media, Columbia's leader in today's technology for your home and business. They've got TVs from Sony and Samsung, surround sound systems from Dolby, Sonos wireless speakers, Wi-Fi that works everywhere, even cameras to see what's going on around your home. They've got you covered. Call Integrated Media at 803-948-8327. Set up a time for them to come out to your house and talk with you about your wants and your needs. You want to cut the cord? They can help. Want one of those beautiful Samsung frame TVs that looks like art when it's not turned on? They do that too. Plus fantastic outdoor systems that let you enjoy your favorite team, movie, TV show, or music while you also enjoy our beautiful South Carolina weather. You can even stop in and see them at the Experience Center, 105 Snapdragon Court in Chapin, and get a real idea of what these things look like in your home. Do what I've done, and many, many of your friends and neighbors. Call 803-948-8327 and get home theater like never before from Integrated Media.
It's the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show with Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell on 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show. Final few minutes of the program, but we got a lot to get to, and it starts with our Honda of Columbia Drive of the Week. Let's hear
the Drive of the Week, sponsored by Honda of Columbia.
I'm going to make an executive decision, because those are always popular.
In some countries, it's unanimous.
There are some reporters who are having to have their wives update their Twitter accounts tonight. Camden over Hartsville. That's our Honda of Columbia Drive of the Week. Camden comes back from 14 points down. They get the win over Hartsville, 22-14. They move to 2-1 on the year. Camden, our Honda of Columbia Drive of the Week.
Yeah, good stuff there from Camden. That'll be one of the many scores we get to in this rundown. We don't have much time, so we are going to
move quick, sir.
That's right. All right. Challenge accepted. Last scoreboard rundown of the night. Let's hit it. North North Augusta beats South Aiken 33-21. Wilson Hall gives Ben Lippen their first L 21-7. Again, Camden over Hartsville 22-14. Palmetto beats Travelers Rest 31-0. AC Flora was up 30-21 on Christ School. They won. That's a final. That was a big win for Flora. Jefferson Davis shuts out Conway Christian 66-0. Wynn crushes Kings 57-6. Lawrence Manning loses to Northwood 42-6. Florence Christian takes down Heathwood Hall 28-7. Cathedral beats Cross 58-8. Beaufort Academy beats Patrick Henry 25-23. Colleton Prep beats Andrew Jackson 25-8. PD beats Christian Academy of Myrtle Beach 44-7. Bethesda beats John Paul Catholic 12-3. Pinewood Prep over Trinity Collegiate 43-32. Hamden beats Porter Goud in the Battle of Unbeatens 27-55. McBee beats Latta 28-7. Great Falls 14. Allendale Fairfax 6. Williston Elko 38. Calhoun Falls Charter nothing. Marlborough County beats Scotland 40-28. Loris beats South Columbus 55-6. Keenan shuts out Battery Creek 27-0. East Clarendon beats Hardyville 36-7. Woodland shuts out Bethune-Bowman 42-0. Timberland beats Cross 43-14. Andrews beats Carvers Bay 34-6. Whale Branch over Ridgeland 28-6. Hampton County over Silver Bluff, that was in the fourth quarter, 14-7. Edisto, this is the final score, over Calhoun 8-4. Yes. Barnwell beats Bamberg Earhart 21-7. Chesterfield stays unbeaten 34-33 win over Lee Central. Pageland Central in the fourth quarter leading Lamar 40-38. Highland Tech beats Buford 8-7. I do that right? I think you did. Mid Carolina shuts out Whitmire 28-0. Fairfield Central shuts out C.A. Johnson 52-0. Eau Claire also gets shut out. Greenwood Christian 41-0. North Central gives Columbia Caps their first loss 33-8. Mountain View Prep up big on St. Joseph's Catholic 48-21. Blackville Hilda beats 96 34-29. Batesburg Leesville in a thriller beats Abbeville 37-35. Landrum beats Ware Shoals 54-26. Clinton takes care of Newberry, gives them their first loss of the season 23-14. Chesney beats Walhalla 25-13. Blacksburg takes care of Sherryville 42-6. West Florence beats Marion 47-0. West Brunswick beats North Myrtle Beach 32-27. Irmo beats Butler from North Carolina in a thriller 35-34 in overtime. Catawba Ridge beats Chester 21-14. May River blows out Lake City 41-6. Bishop England over Hanahan 24-14. Got more scores here. Let's see. Beaufort loses to Philip Simmons 31-20. Dillon shuts out Wilson 22-0 in an all-name bowl. Lower Richland beats Colleton County 46-20. Lugoff Elgin beats Darlington 35-18. Crestwood shuts out Kingstree 47-0. Orangeburg Wilkinson beats the Fighting Justin Halls at Airport 14-9. York beats Union County 49-14. South Point shuts out Ballantine Ridge 63-0. Richland Northeast beats Westwood in our game of the week 25-0. Lakewood beats Dreer 21-13. Or Drea. Seneca beats West Oak 42-3. I'm picking it up. I'm learning you. That's right. I'm getting learnt. Pickens beats Liberty 38-34. Blue Ridge takes care of Polk County 42-36. Wren beats up on Powdersville 34-7. Dixie squeaks by Southside 37-6. Belton Honey Path crushes the Fighting Dave Adaires of Lawrence 55-6. Woodruff beats Emerald 62-35. White Knoll beats Brooklyn Casey 49-19. Easley over Wade Hampton 41-14. Sumter over Myrtle Beach 42-25. Lucy G. Beckham over St. James 48-17. Spartanburg over Broome 47-6. Socastee beats Aner 23-8. I probably botched that. Rock Hill beats Lancaster 32-23. We'll round up. Academic Magnet beats Stall 9-7. Northwestern crushes South Florence 48-37. River Bluff beats Nation 4 35-30. Lexington over Midland Valley 25-14. James Island over Goose Creek 10-7. Gaffney over Greenville 54-14. Fort Dorchester over Stratford 26-24. Dutch Fork over Ridgeview 38-0. Dorman over Greenwood 20-14. Conway over Sherrall 20-16. Clover over Palisades Cadiz 48-12. Chapin over Spring Valley 49-14. Huff beats Carolina Forest 41-0. West Ashley over Cane Bay 42-6. Blythewood over Fort Mill 23-7. Boiling Springs over Chapman 52-7. Somerville in a thriller. Chris Deering beats Berkeley 41-35. Ashley Ridge over Rwanda 56-17. And the last one, I'm running out of breath. Hannah loses to Westside 56-20.
A big night of high school football all the way around. Great performances all the way around. We'll recap all these performances during hour number 1 next week. So make sure you're with us 7 o'clock next Friday night. We'll be going from 7 to 11 again, as it'll be our 4th show of the season, but it'll be week 3 according to the South Carolina High School League, because math. Want to remind you that tomorrow morning, 10:30, Gamecocks game day, emanating from Lexington at O'Hara's Public House. Terry, Tyler, be there. They'll have you from 10:30 to 12:30. Network coverage starts at 12:30. Game starts at 3:30. Gamecocks and Wildcats on ABC. This is the key game. It's the game in the SEC this week.
First place is on the line, baby.
Gamecocks have got to play some offense, got to connect on some passes, keep running the ball, play good defense, opportunistic, be there when you need to be in the fourth quarter, come up with a big play late and get the win. I've got the Gamecocks winning beyond all confidence and beyond all wise thought. 26-23. That's my score. I'm sticking to it. And
I love the confidence.
Be a ball of nerves tomorrow. Elijah Campbell has to literally drive there tomorrow. So
I'll get like 4 hours of sleep. This is going to be great.
Best of luck, sir. Same, except I'm not going to Lexington, Kentucky.
Yours is baby-induced. Yeah, baby-induced early
Thank you guys for joining us on the YouTube stream, here on the radio, on the app. Thank you for calling in on the Love Chevy phone lines. We appreciate it. Always fun. We'll see you guys next week here on the Love Chevy High School Scoreboard Show on the Game.
We out.
$1,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every